Well, hey guys, welcome back to our Paramotor Nation. We have a great show in store for you tonight. We'll introduce our guests in just a few moments, but first I want to talk about our co-host, our panel. First of all, we're not going to be joined, unfortunately, tonight by Nicole Phoenix in Flight. She is a little bit under the weather. Nicole, we hope you're feeling well. Definitely, you better be feeling better before next week because you're hosting the show. So next week, we're going to have Blake Pigeon of Pigeon Paramotor. He is going to be on the show, and he's going to be on the Phoenix in Flight YouTube channel. So tune in for that. So let's start off by talking about a guy who had an amazing video come out today. It wasn't about a cargo trailer conversion, although that was a pretty good one too. It was much better. Let's introduce PPG Gorilla, Rick Davies. There he is in his finest attire. Hello, Rick. How are you, sir?
Fantastic. How you guys doing?
I'm doing great, man. Dude, that video you had today, tell us what inspired you and how you, God, you're so red. Why are you so red? Your lights are just making you look so red, you crazy nut.
Be the shirt. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Thank you for the compliment. That video was a lot of fun. So lately I've been watching these guys like Greg and Anthony with their very highly produced videos, and they motivated me to want to increase my production value a little bit. And I just got that idea and kind of ran away with it. So it was fun. I spent a couple days putting it together and editing it. I did get to fly yesterday, and
tell us about that.
Took a bunch of video, nothing really exciting. I'm still getting my new helmet settings dialed in, and just had a nice flight. Carl and the guys. I had my uncle Tim in from out of town and got him out on the field and let him kite for a little bit.
Yeah, we saw that. He was doing great. I mean, even for a foot launcher, he was doing great, man.
Oh yeah. And we got a new guy, Paul Abishon, that got out on the field and kited a little bit, and we had some good kiting conditions. And then it picked up pretty strong, but it was a good day, good time.
That's awesome. Well, thanks for being here tonight. We also have Trike Flyer, Dave Ruff, joining us tonight. Hi, Dave. Dave, are you there?
Listen, I'm the big boss around here, and it seems that one of your members have created a gangster flick, and he identified one of my moles, Trike Flyer.
Wow.
I wish to make this man a deal he can't refuse. Hey, guys. Sorry, I had to. You know, I got all spiffed up for this and stuff like that. So, hey, what's up, Dave? What's up, Rick? What's going on?
You had a big announcement today. What, you're going to be taking a trip?
I'm taking a trip. I might be taking two of them.
Tell us.
I have signed up for the Scout Paramotor adventure for the Greece trip. We'll be flying over Mount Olympus and I think Thermopylae as well, where the 300 met the hordes. It's a 4-day trip. I should be getting confirmation if I don't have it already. And I've also reached out to Chris Santacroce on some business involving a Scout as well, a Scout NXT. So yeah, 2020 is going to be definitely an adventure. I'm also going to be starting a series of videos from different states. The 50, of course, we already have a gentleman out there doing the 50 state, but we came up with it first last year. So we're going to go out and start doing some of that flying from rest stops. Just taking that what do you call it? Cargo trailer that we're building. So make sure you guys are watching.
Yes, I'm very excited to see that. Rick, did you even recognize Dave when he jumped on here?
No, I didn't.
Amazing.
Oh, wait, Rick, hold on. Yeah, here, hold on for 1 second. Hold on.
I'm used to that, you know,
that. Yeah. What? How did that happen so fast? That's amazing. It's amazing. You feel yourself now, huh?
Well, you know, Rick, listen, that Godfather guy is probably going to be contacting you. He's a good guy, but just be careful.
Yeah, gotcha.
Well, you would think this is an After Dark show at this point, but it's not. We actually do have guests on. But before we get to those guests, let's talk very quickly about our sponsors of our show. We have iFly Indiana, Kevin Kimball, as I mentioned last week. Kevin's $2,500. And if you're a vet, it's 10% off for training. And I think he's got some sort of special. I might have saw on his Facebook page as far as equipment sales right now, Black Friday special. So go check out Kevin Kemble at I Fly Indiana. Also, Craig Taylor is in the chat right now, and you can say hi to Craig. He's with Clearwater Pools. As I always talk about Resurgence PPG, I've got my Resurgence PPG hat on there. I've got my Resurgence PPG cup right here. Love our vets. Love Todd Scandrett, and he's always doing such good things out there. And Craig Taylor's as well. Craig was talking about on Paragliding Talk this past Thursday night the new logos that he's got going on there. So you can reach out to him if you want a logo on your wing. It's pretty darn cool. I mentioned just a few moments ago, Blake Pigeon Paramotor. Check out his YouTube channel. He's also got a little storefront as well. He's very, very interesting. And I don't know if you guys saw, he had a great video that came out this past week. Him and Matt Minyard flying down in Louisiana. Just beautiful, beautiful views. Crazy thing is, he's only got like 200 some subscribers. He's really worthy of a lot more with the great quality of content that he's putting out there. So go check out Pigeon Paramotor. Who's this? Fly My PPG, Mike, Justin, Bob. Their classes are booking up quickly. So if you are interested in flying and you want to see some beautiful area, St. John, Michigan, go check out Fly My PPG. And last but not least, Larry and the Bag Lady, paraorange.com. I can't say enough about these two. They fixed the gorilla. So, but go over to paraorangeproducts.com. As I always say, there's Larry's phone number. We could all call him at once and just light up his phone. He's been really, really busy since the Swanee Flying, doing a lot of great business. They've got a lot of great things. Go check them out. So there you go. Lastly, and I just mentioned this in regards to Blake, and if you're looking for some good gifts or some t-shirts, if you go over to www.ourparamotornation.com, I'm starting to get the website more up to date with things. But if you go into the storefront, you'll see Our Paramotor Nation t-shirts, sweatshirts, gear of all different types. Same thing goes for PPG Gorilla. Same thing goes for Paramotor Crazy. As well as last week, you saw all of us wearing those red shirts with Pi Gamma, which stands for PPG, the only paramotor fraternity. You can now go there and get yourself a t-shirt or sweatshirt as well. So there you go. I think I hit everything. Did I do all the business, guys? I think I did them all.
Yeah, good job.
All right, man, I'm out of breath. So why don't we bring in our guests, Cynthia Lecompt and Greg Anthony Harris. Come on in, guys. Oh, they got bored. There they are.
Hello.
Hey guys.
How are you guys?
Great.
Amazing.
Thanks for having us on.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. So, Greg and Cynthia, I first came across your videos about a month and a half ago, and I was just so excited because finally there was something better than PPG Gorilla videos on YouTube.
I agree.
It's true.
It's
I
true.
agree. Yeah.
And the video content is absolutely amazing. Here is a brand new, and I put this in the advertisement for the show on Facebook, the next big thing in YouTube sensations as far as powered paramotoring is going.
No pressure.
But here's the crazy thing. Greg and I talked, I think it was Thursday night, and you had a back injury, right? Your back was all thrown. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
You just froze for a bit there.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So I was just working on we have a tiny hangar which we can talk about more.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah. So I was shoveling the snow off the top of it because we're in Canada, and yeah, I just suddenly something didn't feel quite right. Something went there, and I decided to carry on working and work through the pain. And then I drove home, and the half an hour drive back to the house, I could barely get out of the car. I'd never had anything quite that painful happen to my back before. And yeah, so that sucked. But I just carried on, and a friend of mine drove me to the pharmacy, and I had to send him in to get painkillers. I couldn't even get out of the car. It was brutal.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're feeling better today because you're obviously moving around. Before I say anything else, I just want to thank Mr. C. Dub, who just donated $2 and says Greg Anthony Harris is the best PPG YouTuber. That was
Wow.
my very first super chat
Oh,
donation. So thank you so much. I'm
Oh,
honored.
thank
Appreciate it.
you.
Aw.
Win the money. No, thank you very, very much. I'm going to take that and donate that right over to Resurgence PPG right there. So thank you. But
Awesome.
Greg, as I said to you, this is kind of stupid that you're actually on the show because you have like 15 videos about paramotoring now and you haven't even flown yet, dude. So what's up with that?
Yeah, I mean, to begin with, I was just making videos as kind of like video diaries for my family back in England because you know, like I don't have any family here, so it was really just to keep them abreast of what was going on in my life, and then my life just became about paramotoring, so I kept going, and I don't know. I thought to myself, I can either wait until I've got enough money to buy a paramotor and then do the training and everything else and then start making videos, or I can just start now and just see what happens. And that's what I decided to do. So I did what everyone does. I made friends of other paramotorists in the area and just decided we just started hanging out with them, and like they go in these cross countries and we'd film them taking off and then drive to where they were going to land and film them land and hang out with them a bit and then, you know, do it again. And it was really just spend time with as many paramotorists as we could. We went to a factory and saw them, saw how they were made. And that turned into a 3-part series because there was just so much going on there. So it was just, what can we do? Like anybody who just gets into it and maybe they can't afford it right away, but they desperately want to just get involved. We did all that stuff. You know, just try to just get involved as much as possible, and it just snowballed from there, and it kind of got a bit out of control. I was not expecting
Slightly.
any of this.
Well, you're kind of just building it up with us. If we ever see you fly, we're probably never going to watch another video again. So you might as well never fly.
Well, the funniest thing I thought to myself was, what if I really build something here and then I fly for the first time and hate it? Like it scares the bejesus. Like I've really painted myself into a corner here, you know. Like, I have no option here. I have to like this. You know?
Yes. So what's the outlook? What's the weather like? When are you going to actually fly?
Actually, I flew today.
What?
Nice.
My first flight today.
He's popped as a cherry.
I'm part of the club now. Yeah.
Congratulations. Well, this is like an exclusive, an Our Paramotor Nation exclusive, a brand new announcement.
Yep.
It was amazing. It was amazing and beautiful and terrifying and everything that I think all of us experience when we do it for the first time.
He had a special glow.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, prime exclusive from Paramotor Crazy News. Greg flew today, and he's still a better pilot than PPG Gorilla.
Well, at one point, I was talking to Dave about this, I think last week, and we're like, I wonder how long we can keep this going.
Yeah,
Or we
right.
just keep putting out episodes, and you know, we'll get around to flying eventually, guys. You know, and just
5,000 subscribers, and we finally hit the first flight.
yeah, right, yeah. So,
all right,
no.
so I want to take everybody back in case you've never seen. First of all, thank you to Ripman Ryden, who put a link in the chat just a few moments ago. I can't see every chat here. I'm just kind of looking at another computer off to the side, but I happen to notice that he put a link to Greg's YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed to it, please definitely actually, no, never mind. Don't subscribe. He just passed me in subscribers. He doesn't need any more. Forget this guy. But no, it's amazing. Amazing. And, you know, the first video I saw is probably the 10th video. And then it was kind of like where you start binge watching something on Netflix. You have to go back to the beginning and just watch them over and over. And it's and I've said this before, it's like watching a PBS special. It's so technically good editing. And
That is spot on. Exactly.
yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks,
I
guys.
love it. Cynthia, did you get to fly today?
I did not get to fly.
Aw.
Yeah, I didn't get to fly. It was just not right. It was
Yeah.
just not right. I saw Greg fly. He went first. He nailed it. Went for a second run. Loved it. And when came my turn, it was just, you know, there's a lot more adjustments to be done to the paramotor. I'm a small person, so just the fittings of everything to get it properly set up. It was it just wasn't right.
Yeah,
So,
it's the wrong harness for it. It's kind of the shoulder pads are sliding off of her shoulders a bit too much, and we think that we need to go for a smaller split leg harness with Cynthia that kind of grips the shoulders more. So we're talking to the manufacturer right now about setting that up. But you know, when it just doesn't feel right, and if it just doesn't feel right, the wind shifted a little bit. It was, for me, I was lucky. It was right down the middle of the field, and it was perfect. The field's quite long and thin, and it's got trees either side, so it's not ideal for a first flight anyway. But I was lucky that the winds come straight down the field, so there's no rotor by the time it reaches me, right? Because the trees at the end of the field are a long way away. And then it shifted to the diagonal for Cynthia, and now she has to go from corner to corner on the field, and at the end of the corner is a bunch of hangers. So she's got rotor coming off of the top of the hangers. Yeah. It just wasn't there. It wasn't there. Fate changed its mind on that one.
Well, you're a better pilot already for resisting the urge to fly when you didn't feel like it was right. So kudos to you. Good job.
All right, thanks. Yeah. I had a good talk with my ego today.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy decision. It was really tough. Actually, it was really tough because it would have been lovely if we both flew today.
Yeah,
I won't lie. What's that?
There's always another day to fly.
Oh yeah. But when it's your first, I won't lie. I cried a little.
Yeah.
It'll happen. If you haven't watched any of Greg and Cynthia's videos, go back and watch it, because one of the fun things, and I would suspect for any PPG instructor, is being able to watch the journey of each and every person. And that's what Greg and Cynthia are giving us in these episodes, is the journey from the very beginning. It's not all about just the flying or going to the factory and building a paramotor, or going out and kiting for the first time, or building your very own hangar, for goodness sakes. It's having Greg's mom and dad come in from London, and by the way, hi, when you guys watch it. Hi, mom and dad.
Hi, mom and dad.
Hi, mom and dad.
So it really takes you on that journey, and you just, it's kind of like when you're watching a show on television, and you get so into the characters. Like for my wife, it might be the show This Is Us. Mm-hmm. Maybe me too. And you just feel connected with those characters. That's kind of fun. What you find yourself feeling with Cynthia and Greg is you connect with them, and you feel like you're a part of their lives in that way. So it's very cool. And I want to personally thank you guys for taking us along on your journey. It's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
To have it documented in such a professional way. It's something only Dave Ruff could possibly do, but yet doesn't. So thank you.
Yeah, Greg does a great job.
You've made us
what?
You're amazing. You're amazing, Dave.
Oh, thank you.
So
I appreciate it.
I've got a bunch of questions here, but Rick and Dave, if you see any questions in the chat, let me know. I think I saw one earlier. I thought it was from Yankee. I thought he had a question in there, but like I said, it's kind of hard to keep looking over and seeing.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt you real quick. Listen, we've got a person. Whoops. We got a person in the chat that is saying something about contempt in court. He has a question. Have you seen that?
Yeah. Go ahead and ask your question if you have a question in the chat, and we'll make sure. Wait. Oh. Okay. So I see it now. He just posted it here. Greg and Cynthia, Anthony Vella would like to know, who are your top 3 YouTube bloggers?
Who's it?
Who?
Anthony Vella.
Who?
Yeah, Anthony Vella wants to know.
Anthony Vella.
Anthony, you know where
is he from?
Right?
Where's he from?
Anthony Vella?
Yeah.
Cynthia, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we're fine. We can hear you.
Yeah, Anthony Vella.
I said Anthony Vella. He wants.
Where's he from?
But where's he from?
El Paso, Texas. You guys.
Oh, I know a guy called Clint from El Paso, and there's a guy called Tom Bird.
He flies Mitch G's crew, I think, doesn't he?
Yeah, Mitch.
Yeah.
You guys know who Anthony Vella is?
Oh, hang on, is that Leandra's boyfriend?
Yeah, him.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
That joke.
Yeah. What do you think of him?
Meh, he's all right.
Yeah.
He's all right. All right. Well,
Okay.
sorry, Anthony. I hope that answers your question.
Hey, Anthony,
Come back next week and ask again.
Anthony,
I have to jump.
Anthony, I still love you. I'll still be on your show. I mean, just give me a call.
This is
Greg,
entirely Anthony's fault. All of this.
Greg, I just sent you a $20 in PayPal for that. Thank you, buddy.
Excellent. I'll tell you right now, all of this is Anthony's fault because I put my first video out where I used my Insta360 camera. I was talking about that. And then a week later, I get this phone call from him. And I'm actually a big fan of the Paramotor podcast. And he's kind of a bit of a hero of mine. And I'd never met him up until that point. And he randomly phones me just to kind of say he enjoyed the video and just to kind of wish me luck in the endeavor. And that really gave me the jolt I needed to start taking this really seriously, which is why I really put the effort in that I put in. So actually, I have to thank Anthony and also blame him as well. And when I'm up editing till 3 a.m. And Cynthia's getting annoyed with me, like it's all his fault. This is all his fault.
I'm sorry, Greg, you were on mute that whole time. I didn't hear a word you said.
He's great.
Well, there you go, Mr. Vega, Vela, whatever your name is. Your ego
Hi, Bella,
is
Vela,
in
and
check.
Leandra.
No, I'm trying to start a new nickname for him, the Lecompt. I don't know if anyone wants to
The
take
Lecompt.
Helicopter, I like it.
Yeah. It's got legs.
Oh, and Leandra's watching too. There you go.
Of course she is. Hey, Leandra.
Yeah.
Oh, Leandra's guy. Yeah, we know who that guy is.
Yeah, Leandra.
All right. Let's get into some questions here for you. Some real questions here. Tell us about your history with aviation.
Aviation. It started when I was about 5. I used to run around my grandmother's garden with it was like a sun lounger. You know, those sun loungers you get that were made of that kind of lightweight steel with a fabric, those the flowery patterns and everything. And I would just run around her garden with this thing on my back. And there was a slope in the garden. And I would run as hard as I could at this slope, hoping that I would get some airtime. And I did that a lot when I was younger. And then from there, it was really just, it just grew from that. And then I got into flying radio controlled planes. And my dad worked for the Air Force. So he got a new job at RAF Coltishall in Norfolk in the UK, which is a World War II Air Force base, quite a strategic one back in the war. And I used to go and hang out with the fighter pilots in the officers' mess and talk to those guys about like what they'd been doing that day. And I'd go down to the hangars. I was a hangar rat. I used to spend as much time as I could just in the hangars, like with the engineers. Like I did my work experience there, working on the Jaguar fighter jets. And that was kind of the beginning of it all. And my parents used to go to a social club every week, and this is obviously before tablets and cell phones and stuff. And I would go there as a kid, and I would take a stack of books this high, and there would be aviation encyclopedias and the letters that the Wright brothers wrote to their sister and their father when they were doing all of the experiments back in the day. I read everything I could, and I just studied and studied and studied. I was utterly obsessed with aviation and with flying and the history of it and everything. And it just got under my skin as a very young kid, and it just never left. It never left.
So that really begs the question. You went into video making and movie making and eventually teaching in London, correct? Why not?
Well, outside of London, but yeah. So
I'm sorry, not London. Where about?
It was actually in Norwich. I worked at a college in Norwich. I was a music teacher, and I got into film production teaching as well. But I mean, I fell into that. The story is that when I was 8, I was about 20, I think.
There's a big difference between 8 and 20.
Yeah, a lot's happened. I think I was about 20. I applied for the Air Force as a fighter pilot.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I was accepted for the testing phase, where a lot of people apply, and then it gets whittled down to about 50 people, and then they go in and they do the testing, and it was a 4-day thing. And after 2 days, I was way up there with one other guy. It was kind of me and him. And then we had the medical. For some reason, they do the medical halfway through, and I failed the eye test.
Really?
My left eye was ever so slight. Basically, I missed 2 letters on the last line of the eye test. That was it. 2 letters. Now, the annoying thing is that I did that eye test with my other eye. Same eye test. I could have just memorized the bottom line, but I didn't. And I got a few wrong. I think I said H instead of M. And I think I said, I don't know, 9 instead of 8 or something like that. And it kind of, it crushed me actually. Cause since a kid, I identified myself as wanting to be a fighter pilot. So I did everything I could. And in a moment, it was just kind of snatched away from me. And it was a tough one. It was a tough period of my life, actually. And I walked away. I remember going home that weekend and I took my logbook and I just threw it in the back of my cupboard. I remember just throwing it up in the back of my cupboard. And I was training at the time, doing my private pilot's license as well. I'd just done a flight where I had my instructor next to me, but I took off, I flew, and I landed. He had hands-off controls the whole time. And that's the last time I ever took control of a plane until today.
Wow. You didn't, but did you ever think you wanted to go commercial pilot or anything like that?
The problem was with commercial was it was so expensive. I mean, to do the training to be a commercial pilot is, you know, it was £80,000, $130,000 or something like that. And, you know, it was just too much. So I gave up. I walked away from it, and I kind of fell into teaching, to be honest. And I had a degree in music, and I went back to the college that I studied at. And one of my old teachers, funnily enough, was like, "Hey, why don't you come and teach while you figure out what you want to do next?" So I got into teaching, and I was there for 8 years doing that. And then got into film making, and film's always been a passion of mine. So I ended up doing a lot of teaching in that, and then I quit the teaching and started filmmaking full time.
Now, let's go back to this and tell us what we're looking at right here.
Yeah, so this is the International Bogner Birdman. I think it was 2007. So I actually, this was just before I went into the Air Force to do my testing, and I built my own glider. It had a 29.8 foot wingspan because the rules were you couldn't have it above 30 feet. So it's 29.8 feet.
Okay,
wingspan.
so in this picture, we see you with your right foot pushing off the ledge. How high off the ground are you?
It was only 30 feet, but it was like a pier, so there was just water beneath.
Okay. So 30 feet, and you're expecting to fly about how far?
Well, you know, if you fly over 100 feet, you won 100,000 pounds, which is
all right. Well, let's see how this ended. Oh, there you are. Wow.
It was a Buzz Lightyear. It was kind of a falling with style more than flight.
And we're just, I'm okay. I'm okay. We're okay. Everybody's good. We're okay.
I was waving at my mother, who was scared stiff at the time.
All right. Maybe that's why your back hurt.
Yeah, hasn't been right since. Oh, there you go.
Crispy biscuits. Look at you.
Yeah.
And now let's talk about this day.
Actually, that's Photoshop. That's only one paramotor, and we're wearing the same paramotor.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
No, we just kind of photoshopped it.
Oh, you fooled me. I told
But
you.
we were together that day.
We were together that day. Yeah, we only had the one paramotor, so we did that just as a thumbnail for one of the videos.
Very cool. All right. So, tell us why you decided to do this whole thing, or was it because of Anthony Vella that you decided to do the whole YouTube without flying a paramotor?
No.
I'm gonna start a YouTube channel tomorrow about throwing darts. I've never touched a dart.
It's right, exactly.
Look at me.
No, I mean, I did what everyone did. I saw somebody flying. We saw a bunch of guys flying paragliders off of a hill, and I left that day, and I knew something had been stirred inside of me again, and I'm like, okay, I need to look at this more. And then we went on holiday for about 10 days to Costa Rica. And I spent the whole time just binge watching everything I possibly could. It was a beautiful beach.
10 days in Costa Rica.
I was staring at my phone the entire time I was there. I must have watched over 100 videos. I'm not even kidding. And obviously, you know, I did the typical thing that everyone does. I type paramotoring into YouTube and I find this guy flying to McDonald's. And I go, oh, that looks interesting. Let's have a look at that. And it just spiraled from there. And then I discovered a bunch of other YouTubers as well. And just like, I became obsessed. you know, like so many other people's story.
Were you looking at it going, okay, this guy PPG Gorilla, I can do better than that? This guy's already got 2,000 subscribers, for goodness sakes.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, the YouTube channel that wasn't even an idea at the time. It was just, you know, it really was just have a bit of fun and I actually thought to myself, if I could put these two passions I have for aviation and for filmmaking together, I wonder what that would look like.
Mm-hmm.
And it lit me up. Like after the first video went out and then I got the call from Anthony, it just changed my whole like energy. Like I used to wake up at, you know, sort of the regular time that most people wake up and do my thing through the day. And, you know, since starting the channel and stuff, I mean, I'm up at 4:30 every morning now, and I'm in the office and I'm working 2 hours before I then work for a day. And it's just like, I just can't get enough of it. I wake up and I cannot wait to get out of bed and get doing this stuff. Like it just lit
Cynthia,
me.
I'm going to ask you a question. Did it drive you crazy to be hearing all these videos all the time?
It wasn't so bad.
No?
Like I do have to pull him away from it. I have to pull him away from it. Otherwise we would have, you know, that cute little relationship we have on video. That would not be the case.
No, I get it.
Yeah, no.
Well, let me throw this idea at you. For anybody that knows where I trained, I trained at Flight Junkies, and to hear Captain Kurt Pfister's voice all the time, my wife was sleeping on the couch. She's like, I can't be in the room with you anymore. Baby, come to bed. Mama's got something for you. Hold on, one more. I got to learn how to launch Captain Kurt style. That voice. So.
You know, no, we often get like opening tune in our heads, you know, like his little Irish tune going, like we'll hum it randomly.
Yeah.
This is the same guy that when I was in Ohio, we'd go out flying, and he'd be like, "Hey, I got to get home. You know, I got to spend time with my wife. I'm going to be sleeping on the couch again." What he was doing is going home, watching more videos, and producing more videos. That's what he was doing.
Yeah, there you go. But I mean, you guys will agree. I mean, it's so much fun. Like,
it is, you know, and I say it too. We have our hobby, and then we have our hobby within our hobby too.
Yeah,
and there's passion in both of them. There is.
And his is all mixed with obsession. So he really does become like his passion becomes an obsession. So it's like, I've accepted the fact that I have to pull him away. And we kind of have that agreement of, he agrees. He was like, yeah, you'll have to pull me away. I said, I will pull you away.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's like, he got to where he got to because of that, because of his passion, because of his obsessions.
Yeah. So Greg, and I'm going to say Greg and Cynthia's YouTube channel. It's Greg's, but it's,
Cynthia.
I mean, it's YouTube. What's that?
Cynthia.
Cynthia.
Okay. Sorry.
Did I say?
Let's review the tape.
No, sorry.
Cynthia.
I just thought you were kidding because I was like, that's like one of those like couple names, like like Greg Anthony Harris, Greg and
Greg and Thea.
Greg and
Dave, we're only like 15 minutes into the thing. Don't start ticking the guest off already, okay?
I know, right? I thought you were going to lose him in the pre-show, Dave.
Well, you know.
So
it's all oot and a boot the pre-show. Oh, there I said it.
Oh, yeah. So, you know, but if you're watching right now, if you look at their YouTube channel, it's about, I want to say it's 1,250 some subscribers right now. Is that about right?
Something.
1,230. I think it's somewhere in there.
13.
Somewhere between there.
I don't know.
I don't know, 8 years to 20 years. What's the difference? So, this is going to be, I mean, you look at where Anthony was a year ago. You look where Kyle was a year ago or 2 years ago. Hell, I mean, even me, I'm at 1,200, and like last January I was at 70. This YouTube of Greg's and Cynthia's is going to be 7,000 to 10,000 by this time next year. I guarantee it. This YouTube channel is going to explode because the quality is so good. The content is amazing, and like I said, it captivates you. But one of the last video I think was just amazing. When you go back, and if you haven't watched it, or if you watch it again, it was this whole very emotional speech about getting into paramotoring. It was amazing. But I think that was the same video as running up the motor.
Yeah, I don't know if it went a bit too cheesy there, but there's more to come. I do like the cheese. So.
He's like the cheese, and then I'm like, thank God I'm in your videos because they'd be way too serious. Like I'm doing all the stupidities in his videos.
It was extremely sincere. I really liked it. I mean, it was that PBS feel. It really brings you in, or National Geographic. It was awesome. But there was one video, and it may be in the same video because they're starting to run together with me, where you ran up the motor for the first time. And the special, tactometer, non-tactometer. Tell us about that.
All right.
And
so I'm just,
I know just the conversations, you mentioned that you were a musician. Why don't you share everybody the truth?
All right. So I left quite a few details out of that video. But in truth, I had a tachometer, which a friend of mine uses on his Piper Cub. And you put the strips, the reflective strips on the propeller, and then you fire a laser at it, and it tells you how many times the strips go past the laser every minute. And so we put that on the Paramotor prop, and it didn't work. It didn't work, and I'm glad it didn't work, because actually there's a reduction gear in the Atom 80, and I think it's something like 1 in 3.6. So I guess like for one up and down of the piston, the propeller goes around 0.3 times, something like that. There's some kind of calculation to be done, but it didn't matter because it didn't actually work anyway. Like we got no reading whatsoever. So I jumped on YouTube and I listened to a bunch of Atom 80s running up at full throttle, and I went, well, that kind of sounds like a B flat. So I'm just going to run my engine at different variations of RPM. So I kind of guesstimated it by listening to the tone of the sound of the front. And just
yes, that's in the Visorati manual as the alternative way to.
I mean, Vidarazzi would just like the
5 minutes at B flat, then cool down.
Pretty much, that's exactly what happened.
I may even do a video at some point showing you how to run in an Atom 80 using the musical scale of C or something like that. I don't know.
You're not too far off, because when I was working with my son on launching, and I kept saying, you got to give it more throttle, and I would go, okay, you're at and you need to be at and he heard me. I'm sure that's gonna look great on the video here, but he heard me, and then I said, you got to listen to that tone. And sure enough, ever since then, he doesn't fail any launches. He's right off the ground.
I mean, at some point.
Quick question.
Yes.
Try to write that in a book.
Well, I did talk to Jeff Goyne about the so I'm trying to get that in the 6th edition. Go ahead, Dave.
Quick question. This actually came from Anthony a little while ago. I want to make sure that we didn't miss it, because it's Anthony Vella. He asked, Greg, your videos are so unique. You film with one camera. How do you tell your story so well? What are some pointers you can offer and offer others who want to share your adventure? And can I have your autograph?
So I mostly use the Insta360. And just from a filmmaking standpoint, I used to use some bigger cameras when I was doing more professional stuff. Like I was lucky enough to film on a camera called the Red Epic. And the Red Epic is what Peter Jackson used to film The Hobbit, although he had 30 of them. I just had the one. And that was great. It did super slow motion, 5K, all of the fancy stuff that everyone likes to hear about. And I'd put these videos out, and they'd be like kind of movie trailer kind of like resolution and all the rest of it. But they'd always fall short, and they'd get a few thousand views and stuff like that, because they were very much client led. And I would just like, it would be almost like editing by committee. So you'd have a bunch of people say, I think this shot should go in here, and I think this shot should go in there. And it would kind of end up like a shadow of its former self. So I kind of made the decision with the channel that actually it really doesn't matter what you film on, what camera you film on. There's no need for that obsession of resolution and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's so much about the story that you're telling, and I think that's the thing I want to get across the most, is that's the most important thing. First and foremost is that you tell an interesting and engaging story for people, because a saying I really like is that a good story will forgive a bad camera, but a bad story won't forgive a good camera, or a good camera will not forgive a bad story. So I think the story is first and foremost the most important thing. And Kyle O'Glee really is a really good example of that. He's very much about like the story that he's telling in the narrative. And he's
wait. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Kyle who?
Come on. The one and only. Yeah, so I really have a lot of respect for Kyle, and he really pushes that point across quite a lot in his videos, and it's so true. Like, people, if you tell a good story, they don't care what camera you're using. They really don't. I mean, you know, it's an Insta360 and Cynthia's cell phone. That's literally, that's all we use. You know, we're not.
It's amazing.
Be clever about it. You know. Yeah.
Question for
Do you
Cynthia.
write a script?
No, I mean, you know, I just, we film whatever we can, and then I put something together, just a rough cut. And for the voiceovers, I kind of sit down and I with a piece of paper and a pencil, and I just write out. I wonder what I can say about this edit that I've got right now, and it kind of just evolves.
But you write, he'll write the voiceovers that he'll write out, but anything in the videos, there's no
pre-planning whatsoever.
No.
We have no, I have no idea what I'm doing at all. I'm literally making this stuff up as I go along, and I think that's the best way, because you come across, you know, you can be very genuine with that, I think. Whereas if you come up with a shot list and I'm going to do this and do that, there's a place for that, don't get me wrong. But I think with the vlogging style that I've chosen to go for, it really is just like wake up, turn the camera on, see what happens. And sometimes nothing happens, and that's okay too, you know? So I think you just have to be comfortable.
Well, it's like what David said. It's like turning on PBS or, you know, Nat Geo or you know, the History Channel. It's just, well, there you go, Anthony. We'll expect great things out of you next week. I'll tell you, I want to come up to Canada and take about 2 months worth of videography lessons from you, because your videos are so engaging. They're amazing.
Thank you. Well, you'd be most welcome, for sure. Or if not, we'll certainly get together at a fly-in, and we can spend a good amount of time just you know, talking about it.
I will warn you, Dave. Greg already told me what I owe him in beer, and it's very expensive beer that he drinks for the help that he has already given to me. So.
Greg's
Listen,
already
when you come down to Texas, we're going to introduce you to what's called Shiner.
Oh no!
Okay.
No!
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Okay. Look forward.
Oh yeah.
Ian says it all.
Yeah.
So Cynthia, not to put you on the spot, but Leandra had a question for you, and the question was very simply: can you tell us a joke? In one of the videos,
when
you're running up the motor.
I'm awful at telling jokes.
Oh my gosh, it was.
I know.
Keep it clean.
Oh my god.
In that case, could you chew David out in French?
What?
Oh yeah.
Could you just like chew him out, insult him?
Absolument. Ça, je peux faire ça n'importe quand.
You son of a.
I don't know what.
Mais non, David, t'es tellement un beau bonhomme.
Really?
Ben ouais.
You know what?
Ben ouais.
You know I can mute you. I just muted
say
you
that
guys.
all day.
I just muted you guys. We can't hear you now.
Oh, I'm gonna unmute it. I can listen to French all day.
That's my wife and I. We could listen to accents all the time. We love people. I don't know what it is. Well, Anthony's saying we want to hear a joke, so we'll let you think of a joke.
Hang on a second. Okay. We lied. Okay. Earlier when he said we didn't script anything, I was reading all of those jokes.
You can see it.
Any really
you can
good
see it
jokes.
in the video. The jokes are all on a screen.
They're all on a screen. I was reading jokes. I'm gonna have to find a joke.
You lied.
You have to find a joke. That's your job by the end of the show. You need to find an aviation-related joke.
Hang on.
Oh.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the once great Greg and Cynthia had risen to the top, but apparently they are lip syncing and are now falling out of favor.
Yeah.
Fake news.
G Gorilla, back to you.
They're fraud and fake news.
Hey, did everybody know that David Wolf, Paramotor Crazy, had a birthday yesterday?
Oh, shut up.
Happy birthday, Dave.
Happy birthday, man.
Yeah.
Thank
Happy birthday.
Mimi,
One time,
happy birthday to you.
Hold on. I need to go get that costume on.
Thank you.
Evan.
All right.
What did I say? I said, you're not a teen wolf anymore, but you can still send it like that. I think was my message.
All right.
He was kind enough to give me some lessons over Messenger when I first got my Insta360. That has helped me a lot. So
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, there's so much you can do with that camera. It's so versatile. It's not perfect, you know. I just use the microphone that's built into the camera, and I do quite a lot of editing to try and get that the audio better. There's more to be done. I think that they're going to bring another camera out fairly soon, within the next 3 to 6 months, and I think it's going to have like a wireless audio, so you can have a lapel microphone and stuff like that. I think if you're investing in the ecosystem of Insta360, that's a wise move, because it's only going to get better from there. I really think that that's the way filmmaking is going. Forget the screen. You don't have to bother framing anything anymore. You can do it after the fact, and it's so powerful.
They've come a long way. I started with the original Samsung 360 VR, the little white one.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I had that too. I still have it.
Yeah. What was the other one? I can't remember it, but
Rilo. There's one called a Rilo, I think.
Well, yeah, I had the Rilo.
Yeah.
And it was decent. It was better, but the Insta360 is just it's far ahead of every one of them.
Oh, it's such a game changer within the filmmaking for sure. It's incredible. Yeah.
Awesome stuff.
Someone's in the chat chatting in French, so you're gonna have to tell me.
C'est qui? Je nous parler sur
Sunny, it's our friend
Messenger.
Sunny. Okay.
Mais c'est Sunny. Yeah, we know Sunny. He's great.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I got a few.
All right. We had
Nation
show
related?
time with
Absolutely
Cynthia
not.
Lecompt.
Absolutely not.
No. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field.
Oh wow! There you go. You
I
got
know, that reminded me of one. Two snowmen stood in a field, and one turns to the other and says, "Can you smell carrots?" No. That's all I got. That's all I got.
Why can't your nose be 12 inches long?
I don't.
That's what
Because
she
then
said.
it would be a foot.
You can mute now,
Hey,
David.
let's get back to our regular schedule. Look at David and Greg
Okay.
both left.
I know, right? It's like, well, this is my time to go make a coffee.
Okay, so why shouldn't you write with a broken pencil?
Okay. Why?
Because it would be pointless.
So cute. I still like the
you
Switzerland one.
can see the watch number going down. What was that?
Wasn't me.
Dave's in the
It had to be rough.
toilet, I think.
Hey, was
Dave.
it that bad? Was it that
I don't know.
bad?
I just muted him. I just muted him. Thanks,
Oh,
Dave.
there we go. He's back.
All right. Well, hey, Cynthia, why don't you
Oh,
some
okay.
jokes? Cynthia, tell us what it was like. What was your thoughts when Greg first said to you, "I want to do this thing, this paramotoring stuff"? What was going through your head when he told you that?
That's really easy.
What was your reaction?
That's really easy. I said I wanted to. Right away, I was like, I want to do it too.
Really?
And it's like,
That.
you know, when your mind, like, I can explain everything that my mind computed in about 0.2 seconds. One is, if I don't get into it with him, I will never I'll never see him. Yeah. And it's like such a cool adventurous thing. I mean, at first I was like, okay, like, we'll fly. That's cool. I could do that. I'm in. But he started showing me all these videos about these trips that people were taking and going in the middle of nowhere, like, you know, seeing Aurora Borealis and flying around cliff sides. And that's what really blew me away. And I'm going, okay, like, now I'm getting the bigger picture. And also, like, don't get me wrong, like, where these videos are going, I mean, the fact that they're not just about paramotoring, I think is really lighting me up. I think we can make this a much, much bigger thing. And I won't lie, I'm a little bit or a lot of a humanitarian. Like, I'm all about, you know, saving the world and all that kind of stuff. So, so I really see the potential to have an impact in the long run and really reaching out to a lot of people with a lot of really good things.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You're right, though. There's a huge adventure in what we do. And it could be as big as hitting all 50 states and flying them, or what our friend Todd Scandrett does with research.
Yes.
Making this a much, much bigger thing than just flying for himself. And that's one of the reasons why, as a show, we've always supported Todd and do everything we can to support his mission. But there's also the smaller scale too, and the thing that all of us can do, which is the fly-ins. I know Greg has told me that you guys plan to come down south once the passports are approved and all that, and do a little tour of the U.S., right? And
I'd love to.
we're going to be,
Yeah.
and Greg and Cynthia promised that they will be in May at the Bad Apples Fly-In, right?
Yeah, that's gonna happen. We're gonna try and do as many of the fly-ins as we can do next year.
Yeah.
You know, we're making so many friends through the channel, and we actually want to, you know, go out and like meet people and shake hands and say hey to, you know, some of the great supporters and some of the great friends we made. And that was really like the greatest thing that's come out of this this whole adventure is the friends that we've made. Like, we've made some really solid friends out of this.
Yeah, and like he's saying it in a very diplomatic way, but I think we both noticed that the people in this field are just awesome. You know, it's just really great people are into aviation, and it's always nice to be amongst passionate people.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
Really,
they just have a different energy about them. And I think that the channel, really the main goal for the channel now, and that this kind of evolved, is really to remind people of that time in their lives when they looked up and they envied the birds. You know, it's not about paramotoring necessarily, or any particular type of aviation, or even flying. It's freedom. You know, it's like that moment in your life where you went, wow, wouldn't it be cool if I could just go run into the sky like those birds can do? And that's I think we all share that as well at some point in our lives. Even people that are scared of flying today for whatever reason, I think at some point in their life they looked up with wonder and saw the birds flying around. And that's something that we share with our ancestors going back, you know, a couple of 100,000 years. I think we've existed as the humans that we are now, and we've all shared that. We've all shared that moment where we look up and go, wow, isn't that cool? Wouldn't it be cool to be able to soar above the ground like that? You know, so I think that's what I'd love to think that would happen with the channel, is I can remind people of that, because maybe that will inspire them to maybe not get into aviation, but maybe if you can bring somebody back to their younger self, I think that there's a power there. There's something there that you can build from again, which is what's happened with me with the channel. Because like I said, I was trying to be a fighter pilot, and actually that was all really based in ego. And after I failed at the fighter pilot thing, I was offered navigator, but I didn't want to sit behind the driver. I wanted to be the driver, so I walked away from it, which I don't really regret necessarily. But for me, it's, you know, what happened today with my first flight. You know, that was my 5-year-old self who just wanted to be a bird. That's all that was, you know. And actually that's the most important thing. And I forgot that for a long time. You know, it was all based in ego, and I wanted to be a fighter pilot, sat in the bar, you know, like with my drink, like talking about the flights I had that day, Mr. Big Shot and all that sort of stuff. And for a long time, I forgot that. And we do, when we grow up and we get egos and we become teenagers and we want to be cool and have the cool car and stuff. But actually, fundamentally, I just wanted to be a bird. And today I got to be a bird again, and it was awesome.
It was so funny. He made it so eloquent. And yet all I want to say is, from the ground, we're watching him take off, and it, you know, like first place, they can be a little sketch. So anyways, we're on the ground and we're watching him take off, and we're like, oh my God. And then there he goes, and he's like,
and I'm like
one of those cartoon, and there he goes. And then we're freaking out in the background. We hear his little like, yeah. It was like a cartoon.
Looks very different from your point of view, huh, Greg?
It was epic. I mean, there was a few little moments there where I was like, I'm drifting over these trees right now. That's probably not a good thing. I'm just going to keep going. Just stick to the script. The Atom 80, as people know, it pulls to the left. Well, to the left there was a forest, so I get above the forest, and then I turn left, and we're sailing around, and it's all good. And then I just do one circuit and come straight back in, nail the landing, like
first landing,
nailed it, as Woody would say, like a butterfly with sore feet. And it was great. The takeoff, however, not good. That was
like
sketchy.
The instructor like ducked out of the way, and he like stayed above ground and like kicked the top of the trees, and
It's like we have an amazing instructor,
Yeah,
and he said to us over and over and over again, you run, you run, you run, you don't stop running. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I gotta run. Well, as you know, the second you get off the ground, everything goes, because you're off the ground, you're flying, for God's sake, you know, you haven't done this before like this, and everything goes. So I sit almost immediately, and I start to sink.
He's about like,
Oh, you pulled a David.
oh, yeah, he was,
I pulled
yes.
a David. Yeah. I mean, you can tell yourself as many times as you want, okay, I'm not going to get in my seat. I'm just going to run and run and run. You right now, guys, anyone who's about to start doing their first flights or whatever, like, it will leave your brain. Like, you will, the instinct is to sit.
Yeah.
And I sat.
Like, he almost did a foot drag seated.
An ass drag. I almost did the ass
Hey,
drag.
that would have been great film for a first flight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's
we filmed it in slow-mo, so you get to see this moment where it's like.
Hey, Greg, there's one other thing that you had mentioned is, you know, your ego back when you wanted to do the fighter pilot. You know, you wanted to walk in the bar and talk about your flights. Well, here's the cool thing about fly-ins. You don't go to fly-ins to fly. You go for friends, and then also to sit around the bar and talk about the flights for the day.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to do that. And you know, the videos that came out of the flying that you had recently, like. I watch those videos and I love watching them. I think they're great. But also I'm just like, we really feel like we missed out there. Like, we would have loved to have come down. It looked like you guys had such a good time, you know? And so it's kind of like, it's bittersweet. Watching those videos is really bittersweet for me, because I'm like, damn, I really missed out there. That would have been awesome. So we're definitely going to be coming to the flying in 2020 for sure.
We have so much.
Oh, it's just begun, man. It's just begun. You're going to have such a good time.
Yeah. First of all, I wanted to say thank you to Sonny, who just made a donation in the super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hey.
But I want to touch upon a couple things you just said. First of all, you will be overwhelmed by the time you get to your first fly-in, and people are coming up to you, and Rick can attest to this, and he's mentioned that, and coming up to you, and you talk about, I want to inspire. You will inspire hundreds of people to fly. There's no doubt in my mind, sir. There is no doubt, and you, ma'am, too. You will both inspire hundreds of people to fly. That's number one. Number two, I want to thank you, and I want to thank people like Anthony and Kyle and Rick Davies and Dave Ruff and Nicole Phoenix and Woody and Mark and Tucker, of course. Because when if you've got a passion for okay. Thank you.
Represent.
There you go. Wear that one. All right. If you've got a passion for football, you can turn on the TV and you can watch football. If you got a passion for NASCAR, you can turn on the TV and watch NASCAR. You can't turn it on the TV and watch paramotoring, what you have a passion for. But because of all these people and all these YouTube channels now, you can go and watch what you really have a passion for. It's not easy to make these videos. It is not quick. It takes a lot of time.
A lot of work.
Good at it. You have to be really careful of every decision you're making, every video, every edit, and not to inflate his ego anymore tonight. But I did have Greg help me with a video edit the other day, and he said, you know, I think with that you've got a little bit of Anthony Vella and a lot of me. You need to add a couple more clips of Anthony Vella and take a little lip. I'm like, my God. Enough of Anthony Vella. I love him, and he knows it too.
We love you, Bella.
But and they're watching. In fact, he just sent me a video of him and Leandra and the kids are watching this right now live. So hi to all the kids out there. Shout out.
Hi guys.
That's awesome.
But no, you're going to inspire people. You're going to be overwhelmed by the amount of people that walk up to you and thank you for what you do. So be prepared for that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the best. That's the best feeling in the world to me.
Wow.
Somebody walks up and shakes my hand and says, "Hey, I'm flying today partly because of your videos, or you inspired me." That's
you have literally changed their life. Like
amazing.
This is no small thing. You know,
it makes it all worthwhile. It really does.
Yeah, for sure.
When you started this channel at 0 subscribers, was it strictly to do a paramotor channel, or did you start with something else as behind it?
No, I kind of had the paramotor thing in mind from the word go, and there was never really there was no real desire to kind of like get well known or anything like that. You know, I mean, it was more just like taking two passions and putting them together and having a really great life. Like that was really it. That the attention that the channel's got, it was completely unexpected, and it's quite overwhelming actually, because I, you know, as a filmmaker, I was always behind the camera, and I was very happy to be behind the camera, and I've worked with some really cool people, and I was very happy for them to be the star and for me to be hiding behind the lens. So there was never any kind of desire to, you know, to get well known whatsoever. It was just like, you know, and if YouTube died, I'm sure you're the same. If YouTube died tomorrow, I'd still make my video once a week, and I'd just put it in a hard drive, and it would just be there for, you know, my kids, my grandkids, or, you know, like the future generations to be inspired by. YouTube just happens to be a medium that you can share it very easily with people. But I've got no real aspirations of, you know, I don't think I'll be, you know, like making a living out of this particularly. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, who wouldn't want to make a living like doing this? It would be amazing. Like,
we love to do. You
like,
know,
it's amazing, but you know,
in 5 years from now, we're going to be having a conversation on our Paramotor Nation. Rick is still going to be making trike sexy. Dave's still going to be lying about being a trike flyer, but we're going to be talking. We're going to be talking about, wow, do you remember when we were only at 1,200 subscribers looking at your channel, and now you're at 1 million? You know, I asked this to Tucker a couple of weeks ago. I said, when you did that video to McDonald's, did you ever imagine you'd be at 1 million subscribers?
yeah.
You know, I mean, when you started making that first video, did you say, oh, you know, maybe a couple of people will watch it? Or did you really think that this could be something here? I might have something.
Yeah, I mean, you can have intention built into it for sure, but I think the danger is that you do something with a specific goal of you know, hitting the big time and stuff like that, and there's a danger there that you end up, you know, falling short and being disappointed. So I think there's nothing wrong with wanting, you know, aspiring to that, but fundamentally, what is your aim here? And like I said, for me, it's just being a bird, and that's it. Just want to be a bird and tell people about it, and if they watch, great. If not, that's okay. I'll watch it when I'm an old man and I can't fly anymore, and it's great.
The people that do it because they love it are the ones that are the successful, and you can see it.
Yeah.
You have to love what you're doing.
By the way, I do want to let you know that your favorite El Paso PPG pilot just entered the chat. Clint Shamali.
Oh, Clint's here. Excellent. Hey, Clint.
And, I know you're a big fanboy. I mean, every time we're on the phone, you won't stop talking about Clint. So there you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What are the big plans for 2020? I mean, New Year's resolutions. We're almost done with 19. What's going to happen in 2020 with this channel and with you two?
You want to take that one? Just
2020?
2020. Well, we got a bunch of fly-ins that we'd love to do.
We were actually going to sit down and talk about that. In fact, that was one of the, I think, given the surprise at how this has been developing and turning out so well. Greg looked at me actually just a couple of days ago, and he said, you know, he goes, we really have to talk about 2020. Like we have to sit down and plan this, because there's a lot of places that we're going to go, and there's a lot of trips we'll be taking and fly-ins and all of that. And I said, oh crap. Yeah, we do. Like, we got to find a cat sitter or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, but yeah, we were about to sit down, and yes, fly-ins are absolutely, obviously we want to make it to Endless Foot Drag and
Greece.
Sorry?
And Greece.
And Greece.
Yeah. Well, now I just found out about Greece, so now let's put it in the books.
So there's some things definitely doable, which are those things. You know, we'd love to do a bit of a tour of America. I'd love to do a short series on the history of flight. Maybe go fly some of the old sites, like where the Wright brothers did their first flight at Kill Devil Hills.
So when you're down in Cincinnati, we're about 40 minutes from Dayton. Okay.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And my buddy Brandon just went to the whole Wright brothers like museum and house and everything.
Amazing.
But right here in Dayton is, and I hope you guys don't mind because you're not from the U.S., but it is United States Air Force Museum, and I will argue the best museum in the entire country. It's absolutely amazing. You can actually go on to several of the Air Force One.
I agree.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like John
Yeah,
F. Kennedy,
also,
JFK's
I'll
flag.
add to that. If you ever find yourself in East Texas,
Mhm.
I live on 16 acres with a 5-acre fully stocked lake, and I've got a nice 40-foot Tiffin Phaeton that you guys can stay on for as long as you want. So
Oh,
you don't have to worry about
man.
hotel or anything else like that.
Guys, thank you
Thanks,
so
guys.
much.
That's
There's
amazing.
property out there to run around. We can fly off the property, or we can move down the street to a little larger area that we can fly off of. And I'm sure I could probably get you down into Kylo territory because he happens to be one of my neighbors. So we can go down that way too.
Gosh, this is like
That'd be amazing.
Come on, Rick, up one. He just one up me. Well, like, you up one him now.
Yeah, Rick.
got what you got.
What do you
Come
got,
on,
Rick?
Bring it in.
Florida. Come to Florida. We fly you
Oh, there
around.
you go.
Oh, we love Florida.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Sunshine State. It's always better than our white crap.
The Great White North. It's beautiful, but
It is
it's
beautiful.
Thank you, Clint, for the
oh, my
donation.
goodness.
Clint says we need to get Anthony a new wing. So
Yeah, apparently Anthony threw his wing into Clint's prop as Clint flew by, and we don't know why Anthony would do something like that.
how would he do that?
Oh my god.
anything for
Temper tantrum. Temper tantrum. He knew Greg and Cynthia were going to be on tonight, and he threw a temper tantrum and apparently threw his wing into Clint's prop.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we started talking earlier about the tiny hangar. Do you want to talk more about that?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah,
It's a doghouse.
It's a dog. It's a big dog house.
It's the
is what it is.
doghouse.
I was working. I was at a factory. I was doing some filming, and there was this huge box on the back lot of this factory, and they just had delivered this massive machine for. It's like a, I don't know, like some kind of big plastic machine, but it's this an enormous box. So it came from Italy, and they were just going to break the box down and throw it away. And I'm looking at it, I'm going, that kind of looks like it could be a tiny hangar.
It's
you know?
the size of a garage.
It's the size of a garage. You could park a car in this thing. It's no small
Easy,
box.
yeah.
This is a big box. And I thought, well, you know, paramotors aren't very big. Like we could potentially turn this into like a little tiny hangar, and we could have a workshop in there and a little place to sleep overnight, so we can get up early with the sunrise and do an early flight. And I spoke to the owner of the factory, and he's like, yeah, we're just going to break it down. I said, can I have it? And he said, hey, listen, if you can get it off site in 48 hours, it's yours. So I call up Cynthia and I say, hey, we got a free hangar. She's like, excellent. $460 later, we managed to get it delivered to the airfield where it now sits. But it was that was a test on the relationship.
Oh my, yeah.
It's free, but we
being
need
nice. I was
$460.
pissed. So
Yeah,
it's
she
just
was-
like, you're gonna ship this thing? How? He calls the truck. First truck comes over. He's like, no, we're not legal. We can't carry
The box
it.
is
You
too
need
big.
the bigger truck.
You need the bigger
Like,
truck. Well, how much is that?
It's
Oh,
a
that's
huge flatbed.
another $200.
Yeah. Anyways, no, we got it there. I'm happy, and like I have to say, I'm still trusting his imagination, because right now it still looks like a giant wooden box that's cut in two. So like he's working really hard, and I know it's gonna look amazing by the end.
It's going to be really
It's gonna
cool.
look
It's going to
great.
be the tiny house equivalent, but it's just this little tiny hangar.
Yeah.
You know? It's going to be great. And actually, I had an idea. I didn't tell you about this. I was watching a documentary about the Wright brothers the other day. It's a documentary I've watched many times. It's called Kitty Hawk, the story of the Wright brothers, I think. And in there, they've got the hangar they built in Kill Devil Hills. They showed some photographs of the workshop and of the kitchen that they made in that hangar. And I would like to recreate that almost exactly in our tiny hangar, because I mean, it'd just be so cool to have like the Wright brothers setup going on, you know?
That's so cool.
Well, I
That's
didn't see it yet, so that's a maybe.
Yeah. Everything has to be approved by the boss. So we'll see.
I thought it was funny. I actually caught a interesting thing in one of the videos, and I mentioned it to them. I know I mentioned it to Greg. Cynthia, I didn't mention it. One of the videos, Cynthia comes up to the hangar, and she goes, I've got to pee. And she gets on out of the car. She goes, I got to pee. And she gets on the bike and drives away on the bicycle. And I'm like, wait a minute. She left the car door open. Why don't you just get in the car and go pee somewhere?
Oh, well, we like to be as green as we can be, you know. I don't want to burn fossil fuels. We don't need to, I guess. That's what it is.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Shameless. Hey, you want to hear another one? Actually, going back to the story of the first time that Greg spoke to Anthony Vella, when Anthony called him, I was in the background in a bush peeing. I
There
was
you go.
squatting in a bush when Anthony Vella called Greg for the first time, and Greg was supposed to be the lookout for me to make sure nobody was watching.
And suddenly I'm talking to Anthony. You can see a head behind me in the bushes. Hey,
Like, I'm standing up looking at him on his phone FaceTiming, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh, that's funny.
And he's like, Anthony Vella. And I was
Yeah.
like, no way.
You need to put one of those toilets in your tiny hangar like David's is putting in his paratrailer.
I
Perfect.
put it's a 5-gallon bucket with a toilet seat on it.
Oh, one of the composting toilets.
No, it's not even one of those. You just do it in the
In a
bucket.
bucket. Oh yeah,
Right.
I've seen those. Yeah.
Bit of sawdust.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
There you go.
Grassroots, man. Grassroots.
Here's a question here in the chat, and I don't know if you know this answer or not, but this comes from Doug Bowman. It says, "How much work would it be for us? Wait a minute. Maybe I'm thinking he's saying for a U.S. citizen to get a PPG for a PPG pilot to become a licensed in Canada." Okay, so let's say that again. What does it take to become licensed in Canada to be a PG pilot?
Oh.
There's a bit of a process actually. I mean, it's not, you know, you guys are lucky there. You can
Sticker on us and say, "Hey, you're a pilot." That's
yeah,
what we
you
do.
can you can buy it and send it all in the same afternoon. But you know, here you have to get a student license. You have to be trained by an official instructor. You have to do something called the P-STAR, which is a test that
It's like an ultralight
your ultralight license, basically.
theoretical test. Yeah.
And there's a few other things. I mean, you can, if you go on to
Medical.
Transport Canada is the website to go on, and they'll give you everything that you need to do there. But unfortunately, I don't know if it's unfortunately or not, to be honest. I mean, you know, some people think it's crazy and you should just be able to fly, but I don't know. It wasn't that much of a hardship, to be honest. Like it really wasn't. But yeah, if you guys come north, you can't just send it. Like there's a few things to do. Yeah. So, but just go on Transport Canada website and they'll tell you everything you need to know.
Wow. Okay.
Anthony Bella says you must own a maple syrup conglomerate.
That's funny.
It's coming. And you must not shred your friend's wing.
And you must not shred your friend's wing. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
But,
no.
Exactly.
What other questions do we have for this couple?
What we need you to do is write 200 times, "I will not shred Anthony Vella's wing."
I don't think he will agree to that. I think he liked doing it.
I mean, that must be pretty painful, though. I mean, all jokes aside, like, you know, you've got this piece of fabric that takes you up there, and you know, keeps you safe and gives you these amazing experiences. I don't know what I mean. You know, I'm such a noob here, right? That like flew today, but you must kind of develop a relationship with your paramotor and with your wing and that. So it must be, all jokes aside, that must be pretty uncomfortable when something like that happens. You know, I can't imagine.
Yeah, actually, you hit it. I am very attached to my wings and to my motors.
Right.
They're an extension. I work on them constantly, make sure they're tip top. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've got a plan of when we get the second paramotor for Cynthia, we'll get another Kanguk. We're going to name them Orville and Wilbur.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just a really cool thing. And I don't know about the wings. I know we'll name the wings or not. I'm not sure, but we've got an APCO on the way as well, a lift, which is what we've been.
That's a good wing.
Yeah, well, that's what we've been kiting on. That's what I flew on today. It was solid as a rock, man. And we're getting the newest version, the Lift 2 EZ, and it's got this upgrade kit that I'll get later on as well, where you do like 20 or 30 hours on it, and then you can convert it to the Lift EZ-R, which is like it becomes an intermediate wing. And suddenly you can do cross countries a lot better, and it's faster and it's more maneuverable and stuff. So it's almost like you get two wings in one, and you just buy this upgrade kit for it, which is really cool. So I'm kind of excited to see what that can do. But right now it's really just build hours, stay safe, have fun. That's it for us right now. But really,
videos.
the biggest priority actually.
Yeah, videos, definitely more videos.
Yeah, but really, it's just I really want to get Cynthia in the sky. Like that kind of sucked today. We need to make that happen as soon as possible. But it's getting cold
Well,
here.
no offense, but we want to see her fly more than we want to see you. You stick to the
Exactly.
filmmaking,
Well, then
she'll make the flying look good.
continues.
Me too. Well, we got that to look forward to. That's going to be a hell of an episode. Well, it's
This
gonna.
is like end of episode 1. You know, kind of like the Star Wars movies. And then you
Yeah.
gotta wait months till the next one comes out. Like,
Yeah. It might be spring now. It might be
We're just waiting on a weather window for her now. We're waiting for another good
oh
day.
no! At this point, I
It's-
think maybe we'll wait till the weather gets better. I mean, I'm
Or drive
open.
south.
I'm open to opportunities for sure. Like today was a beautiful day. We got really lucky with the weather to be able to make it out for our first flights. So if something like that shows up again, for sure, I'm really game.
Yeah, there's so much that has to be right for it because the field we're in is long and thin with trees either side. So the wind really has to be blowing down the line of the field. And of course, as we all know, that can change in a second. And then it's not flyable. Like it can change 45 degrees and suddenly you've got too much rotor to, and everything else. The temperatures is getting colder all the time.
Yeah.
It's so
I'm also not closed at all at making it to a sunny destination.
there you go. Yeah.
Why don't you come down to Arizona in February? You got a couple Canadians down there that fly out of Maricopa. I'll be there. It's wide open.
God, really?
We may just actually, yeah. I think we'll see. We'll see what happens in the next month or so.
I love
And if it starts
Arizona.
dragging on too much, then for sure we'll be heading south because we can't wait until spring up here. It's not fair. It's not fair for me to have done that and for Cynthia to have to wait now because this has always been something that we were doing together from day one. So it's
We'll
it's
start a charity fundraising for me. Like get her first
There
flight.
you go.
I'll cry a little bit.
yeah. We'll make a
have
really
little
sad,
picture, yeah.
cheesy video with the music.
Please
and,
help Cynthia get her first
This
flight.
is Cynthia. She hasn't flown yet.
In February and March, April, and yeah, I think it's just April. Maricopa, Arizona, the airport down there. My my power motor instructor Wayne Mitchler is down there, and there's actually quite a few other Canadians that come down to that area for those months. So.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a good time. Plus, you can fly the Copper Pit Mines, which is about like an 8-mile flight from the field, so you get to go see that.
I
You
would
get the
love that.
Superstitions. You've got Sedona, which you can't fly to Sedona from
she
Maricopa.
loves Sedona.
But you
I've
can
been
go up
sitting. I
there.
love it.
You've got the airport graveyard, which is not too far
Yeah.
away. You've got Meteor Crater. There's tons to do down there. So if you guys need information, I'll give you all the information when we go and do a after
Yep.
show.
Yeah, whatever
So,
you can give us for
doing
sure. Like
that.
we
Yeah.
got some plans. We just we need to figure out.
I'll even take you to your first Renaissance festival too, because I'm down there doing Renaissance at the time. So
Oh,
I'll get you free
yeah.
tickets and a free day at the Renaissance festival.
I can play the whistle. So
There you go.
Yep.
What's Renaissance?
Yeah,
Festival?
yeah,
Is
the
that like
medieval
a
whistle.
Medieval
Yeah,
festival.
like medieval festival. Yeah.
Yep.
Dave goes medieval on
You got
our app.
tights, right? Dave will loan you some tights.
What David say?
Some what?
Dave will loan you
Some tights?
You got
Some
tights?
tights?
Oh yeah, I've got plenty of tights. I got
Yeah.
plenty. Yeah, that's not a problem. We
Okay.
we can get you guys dressed up as Robin Hood and Maid Marian in a heartbeat.
First.
We're there. Sounds amazing, for sure.
Oh, there you go.
Oh my god, is it silly hat
Yeah.
time? Okay, well,
Silly hat.
I haven't got silly hat, but I do have some rather.
Oh, man.
Come on, don't leave me out.
World War
No,
II
don't make
glasses.
me do it. It's gonna be.
What are you? No, what are you doing?
Anytime Dave mentions the
Just put a bag on her head. Okay,
what the heck is that?
It's a bag.
it's just a bag.
It's
My
a silly
God,
hat now.
Yeah, it looked like really something bad from the south. From
Yeah.
Yeah, I was near your house the other day.
okay, that's a bad idea. Take it off. Take it off. Okay. Gonna get censored. and demonetized.
Abort.
I'm bored. Is that a dead thing? What is it?
Oh, I just found it in the road tonight.
You
Yeah.
caught that in the lake. this
Yeah, that's
morning.
what you guys do, eh? Down there in the States, you just put.
Hey, listen, you come down to Texas, and I will introduce you to some customs that I'm sure are really illegal in Canada.
Like Fogel says, nobody outdresses the gorilla. He's right.
He's right.
No,
In fact,
No.
when I,
that's because none of us are willing to get naked on the pre-show.
yeah, I'm gonna be having
Put
nightmares.
this one back on.
Oh yeah, there
there
it
it
is.
is.
There
Make
it
it
is.
red though.
Yeah.
Oh,
It is.
Yeah, your whole screen goes red when you put
I
that
know.
on.
That's why I had to take it off.
Stop it. You're burning my eyes, man.
I'm having some awesome dreams tonight.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
Sexy.
Making me look bad, man.
Oh, here's the bra. Here's the coconut bra.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Oh no, it's not.
there you go.
Bring-
Yeah. Is it
Bring your
upside?
costumes to the fly-ins.
What just happened to the show?
Yeah.
It just went to hell in a handbasket. Hey, Gorilla,
Yo.
my friend. I saw that you took a long pour out of something earlier, so
Oh
See, we didn't-
man.
there we go.
We didn't think about that.
No.
I got
This is because Nicole's not on, so you can pretty much get away with it.
I know. There.
I'll drink to that. Whatever it was.
is.
You're way too good.
Hey,
Cynthia, are you drinking moonshine out of a jar?
Yeah.
there's kids
That's how
watching.
we do it here in Canada, eh?
That's how we do
Hey,
it.
Hey,
Eh?
Hey.
my daughter gets on the pre-show. She goes, "Hi, Cynthia." Hey.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah.
Well, hey,
So, it's a boot the moonshine?
A boot, a moonshine?
A boot a moonshine? It's a boot? What?
It's a boot? What? What?
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Oh, man.
Okay, I'm gonna stop before you kill me.
let me ask you a question. So, we always try to make these shows somewhat educational, but they always turn out to be somewhat silly and.
They always seem to get demonetized, actually, if you really want to know the truth.
But like four of us talk about our guests before we come on the show, and we say, what can this person bring to the table? What will this person educate our audience on? So now that you've gone through training, let's say you're talking to a new person. What's going to be the 3 most important things you would tell someone new getting into the sport?
That's a
I
good
would say
question.
definitely get comfortable with the ground handling.
Oh yeah, kite like it's going out of fashion. Just
Yeah.
kite as much as you can. Get really used to the wing. This is assuming that you've got a wing at that point. I think if you're like a total noob and you haven't even invested in anything yet, then just go and meet other paramotors, spend time with them. Like we found paramotors to be like so generous. Like they spend time with us. They've lent us gear, like the kiting harness that we've got right now, it was lent to us by a good friend. The wing that we've got right now was lent to us by a friend. Like it's just been unbelievable, the generosity of these guys. So it's really kiting, ground handling, like as much of that as you can do. Wow. I don't know, just watch as much as you can online of like for instance, Kylo's videos. He talks a lot about weather, and his videos on weather are excellent. He's very, very knowledgeable, and if you want to know about how thermals work and the right kind of flying conditions and things like that, then certainly go and check his stuff out. And I guess just make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. Like if it's an ego trip
on YouTube.
If it's an ego trip, forget it. Like this isn't what, it's not that kind of party. Like this is, are you passionate about aviation? Do you really like what's your reasoning for wanting to do it? Make sure you're clear on that before you get into it. Because if it's an ego trip, then you're gonna start throwing some crazy acro too soon and hurt yourself. You know what I mean? Just like be clear on why you want to do it.
I think this is actually like a very, very good training for the ego. You know what I mean? It's like
because it is the coolest
like
thing.
I'm learning that. I had a big lesson today, but I also, I do a lot of personal development. I'm a life coach and stuff like that. So studying that in myself is something I do a lot, but I know that not everybody does. And I think that's one thing that I realized that is just a part of this sport. I don't know what you guys have to say about it, but it's like, how often do you have to kind of, put your ego aside and turn around? Like,
oh, when you're standing at a fly-in and you have your first failed launch, your ego goes really out the door quickly.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not always in front of people, right? Sometimes you want to go out and you're all prepped up and you're there and you spent an hour and a half preparing for it. And it's like, well, I spent all this time, and then you got to take it all down and you haven't flown yet. Like it's that
Yeah.
type of situation.
I mean, actually,
right? It's
David,
like,
you said something to me a few days ago, which really stuck, which is, you know, go out on a perfect flying day,
oh yeah,
set up, get ready to go, and then pack your stuff away and just sit there and just admire the day. And it's really about just like training yourself to not fly, so that you don't take stupid risks and end up hurting yourself, you know, like just like be really comfortable walking away from a, you know, from a flight if you just don't feel like it's right.
yeah.
And that really stuck with me, actually.
That
I was really
stuck with
glad
me
you said
too.
that.
I was like, if yeah, there's a one ego training would be that one. I was like, my stomach cringed when you said that. I was like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
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 You both, your tone when on the phone, you both your attitude and tone changed pretty heavy when I was saying that. I'm like, are you guys upset with me?
Just the penny just dropped. It really rang true, and it just took me a couple of days to really let that sink in. I really thought about what you said, and it's true. You know, you have to, because you know, you can. I find with this sport that up to a point you choose your level of risk. You know, so if you want to go up and do acro, you absolutely can, but your risk is going to go up. And you can go out and fly when it's gusting at 10 miles an hour if you want, but your risk is going to go up. Like, so it's like, where do you want to set your risk bar? If you want to keep it low, there's paramotorists out there, I'm sure, that have like, maybe they've twisted an ankle, but that's about it, their entire flying career. And there's paramotorists out there that have flown for 18 months and broke 4 or 5 bones in that time. So you do get to choose, and a couple of paramotors and a whatever, and maybe shredded a wing. But you know, you choose your level of risk, I think. And but
you fly with as you want it to be. It's as safe as you make it.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's difficult. It's very easy to say that, and then you get to the field and everything's perfect, and then suddenly there's just the gust is just a little bit too much, but you still want to go. And at that point, you absolutely can, but your risk level increases. So you just have to play the numbers and just don't be stupid about it.
Here's some great news, and you know, we talked about this a little bit too. You know, there's amazing people in our sport. You know, I was my connection there. All right, I'm coming back. Tell me when I'm back.
You good?
Back. There's amazing people in our sport. Sometimes I'll get says my connection is going low from my internet. You know, we talked about how I asked you, do you guys have any people that you fly with? And you said, well, they're a while away, which is important to get in groups. And, you know, I fly with the Tri-State Skywalkers, and, you know, we fly in groups as much as possible, and they're there to help each other. Likewise, when Dave was up here in Ohio for a couple months, we flew together several times, and he was helping me as I was starting to learn my foot launching and helping correct me. There's people who are really amazing, who are very, very busy with their time, but yet will still lend a hand. Kyle O sent me I had a video up earlier this week, and it's the one, Greg, that you helped me with. And I called it target fixation. And Kyle basically let me know this is nothing to laugh about. And I took his advice very, very serious. And we had a couple messages back and forth, and he must have spent 20 minutes writing me a message. And, you know, I think he may have thought he offended me, but I didn't. I took that video down because Kyle is seeing something that you know, when Brandon and I, after it was over, we were laughing about it. Oh man, I almost landed you. But the fact of the matter was, I was not in control. But this man, Kyle Glee, was nice enough to reach out to me and say, here's what you're doing wrong. This isn't a laughing matter. I respect him so much that I took that video down, as much time as I put into it, and recruited you to help me with it. But, you know, he gave me some advice for the next time I go out. And sure enough, I'm going to do exactly what he says. The point is, going back to what I was saying, there's enough people there to help you out. Todd Falstad's in the chat. And, you know, I've mentioned him many, many times of how much his advice, he used to reach out to me when I was first starting out, giving me advice. I don't think he cares about me anymore, so he really doesn't any longer, but that's okay. I still like Todd.
Props to you, Dave, for taking that as constructive criticism and going in the right direction with it. So that's smart. That was mature.
But the point, thank you, Rick. But the point is that you've got so many great people that are here to help you in this sport, and it's something to really appreciate. And all the new people coming in too, you're going to have people that are there to help you too, whether it's at a fly-in or if you're just flying in a field with other people, they're going to be there to help you too. Nobody wants to see anybody get hurt or fail. And we all want to look out for each other, which is really the whole point of this show, is to educate each other and to look out for one another.
Yeah, and I'm really hearing that what you're saying, David, is like, as much as we, look from an outsider, this may look like a solo sport, but it really isn't. It's like and I know that too. Like we've flown today, and you're saying that you fly with a group, and I said, and we were also told like it's not recommended to go out and fly alone. And I agree with that. And it's so true. When you fly in a group, there's always going to be at least one person that's going to stop somebody from taking a risk that they may know or not know they're taking.
More than that, it also comes down to if you fly with a group. I mean, like in PPG Bill's case, his buddy that launched the flag that went really bad. Or there's been a few flights where I've flown with friends where they have a motor out, or they just land because they couldn't get their motor started. That happened to one of my last flights where thought he went down. You have somebody there kind of eyes above you to make sure, hey, you're okay. And if you're not, you've got somebody there that can go get help immediately or render aid immediately. Yeah. So, we all fly alone. I mean, well, I don't know if we all do. I do. I'm sure, the panel does from time to time. But, it's very, very important that, in your first 40, 50, 70 flights, you fly with a group. Sean, I wish I could. I'm actually on my phone. My computer and stuff's back in Texas because I'm getting ready to go home. I'm down for the season.
Okay.
So, vacation.
I will say this, too. That really impressed me. I want to say two things, actually. One person that really impressed me at the fly-in happened to be Nicole. Because Nicole, one night, I think it was Saturday night, we were flying, and Nicole chose not to fly. She chose to be on the ground helping people, especially the trike people, get off the field quickly. So, because there were so many people landing at once.
What do you mean, especially the trike people? What are you talking about?
She found the maturity that I'm going to help everybody. What's that? Oh, but she was so mature to say, I'm going to stay on the ground and help get everybody off the field so everybody's safe.
Hey, excuse me. I was one of those guys on that cold morning too. Mr. PPG Gorilla, could you start my motor for me?
I love the shot when you were just you're minding your own business, Dave, having a cup of coffee, and a wing just drops on your head. From
Listen, it was 38 freaking degrees that morning, that last morning. I was enjoying my cup of coffee. There was no way I was getting my butt up in that air because I had flown the day before when it was like 60 degrees and took a beautiful long cross country. I was not going to fly in. I'm a 50-degree kind of guy.
Yeah.
And, I'm just sitting there and I'm watching all the color of the wings and everybody, giving advice, starting people's motors like PPG Gorilla, who needed help that morning to get off the ground. And next thing I know, a wing gets dropped on me.
Was that you? Did you do that? Was that Rick? That was some epic taxiing.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Epic taxiing.
I'll never be able to do that again. That was one of my greatest moments. That was my greatest moment of flying or landing.
Yeah. That was awesome. I'm just sitting there. I just watch it come down. It's like,
it was so perfect.
I was actually trying to make sure the coffee didn't spill on his wing.
Yeah,
so as it started coming down, I'm like, holding the coffee.
It could have burned a hole in my wing. It would have been worth it. It's all right. I want to say this to X36 Hypnotized. Just put a comment here that he's learned more watching this show in the last 2 months than he has, and I think it's at 14 years of flying. You know what? Someone had left a comment to me or a comment on the show a while back saying, "What are these people doing on this show? They've barely been flying for a long time. They shouldn't be there." I wanted to do this show from the very beginning because I don't know what I don't know, and to have guests on, maybe not brand new pilots, but guests that have been doing this for a long time, such as a Jeff or a Todd or a Tucker or fill in the blank, that I can learn from them and that we all can learn from each other. That's why this whole show was put together. So thank you for that support. I appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly.
Dave, look at it this way, man. I think I was one of the last ones to come onto the panel, and I had been watching you guys for the shows before. And, it used to be that you would get, maybe 5, 10, 15 watchers, sustained in a show. Take a look at your watch count now. And this is regular. And we're all pilots that aren't pros. I mean, some of us have been flying for longer than others. Some of us can do acros. Some of us can't. Some of us, are just starting, whatever. This is a conglomeration of a bunch of people in a big think tank saying, hey, this is how you do this, or hey, you might want to take a look at this, or hey, good job on that. I go through so many chat, things during the day watching Power Paramotor, and I see a bunch of snide comments and a bunch of infighting. But I'm here to tell you, you start getting out to the real world of the actual paramotor fly-ins and stuff like that, or communities like this, or communities like Robert's, or communities like Anthony Vella's, on these podcasts and these talk shows. And you've got nothing but people that just want to help, that want to be friends, that want to, see you succeed. And it's a wonderful thing. So, hey, this is great. This is great. It's right where it should be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Haters will be hating. We just got to focus on the good stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cute dog.
Hey, yeah, I was going to say, PPG Gorilla, is that the guy that keeps on giving me the thumbs down?
Yeah. Oh, you get those too?
That's Leandra said bring the dog back on, so I couldn't get Jackson. He ran off, but this is he's my little sweetheart.
I would just say, if you get thumbs down, be happy that you got thumbs down, because the YouTube algorithm loves
really.
You index.
It used to bother me, honestly, about 2 months ago when I was getting thumbs down. I was like, what the heck? What am I doing wrong? What do I need to change? And I was even asking people, look, if you're giving me thumbs down, tell me what what you don't like so I can change it. Now it's just, I look at it going, you know what? You're giving me a thumbs down, but I'm the one up in the sky.
There you go.
I love it that I got two guys that I release a video and within 10 minutes I get 2 thumbs down. I know they subscribe and have notifications, so I'm good.
It's just the same 2 guys for all of us, probably.
Yeah.
In fact, we got 2 thumbs down here on the show right now. They're probably
nice.
They're here. They're watching.
Hey, thanks for watching.
Thank you. I got upset and I got scolded by my 16-year-old today, and he was right. He really was right. Because I got upset with a comment that someone left on my video, the one that the free training versus 3,500, and someone's basically said, how can all you people be saying thanks for posting? Bart's on, and I want you to hear this, Bart Berry, because I was thinking of you when I was reading this. How can you be saying thank you to this guy for putting this video out there? He says it's unbiased, but it's anything but biased. I kind of went off on the guy, and I was really upset that someone would accuse me of doing something like that, and saying that I'm getting free equipment or something like that for doing a video like that. It was so fun.
Dave, you're getting free equipment?
Yeah, right. That's news.
Man, congratulations, man.
So, but my son said, you know what? You should not be doing a YouTube channel anymore, Dad. If that offended you, then you should quit right now. I said, shut up. I hate that you're smarter than me, man.
Good boy.
So good. My God. High
Oh.
five to that kid. My
He's
gosh.
right.
It was Theodore Roosevelt. He said that it's not the critic, or I can't remember the exact quote, but it's basically that the credit goes to the man who's actually in the arena. So people can sit in the bleachers and shout all they want, but the credit does go to the person who's actually, they're putting themselves out there, they're in the arena, they're doing it. And you're always going to have people that are shouting bad things from the bleachers, but they'll probably never get onto the field, and that's fine. Just let them sit in the bleachers and say what they need to say, and if it makes them happy, then you're making them happy. If
Greg, you are so right. With what I do for a living and trick shooting, you are right. I have heard naysayers, and I think the same way. Hey, at least I got the guts to be out here.
So some naysayers will, they're not happy unless they're finding something to troll about. And so actually, if you're making stuff that pisses them off, you're making them happy. So, that's great.
That's a good.
Hey, we got your number 1 fan in the chat. Say hi to Kyle O'Glee.
Hey!
Sorry, Dave.
About time.
About time.
Yeah, I can't wait to meet Kylo. Actually, he's I love his stuff.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, Dave. I was gonna say, you were talking about how you were inspired by Kyle O'Glee. If you could say one thing to him right now, look in the camera and tell us what it would be.
Oh no, I heard Greg say that he hated Kyle O'Glee and wanted to chew him out. That's what I heard.
I want to be a troll, but I suck at life. That's excellent.
great guy. That's all you need to be a troll.
You know, when I see him type, since I hang out with him so damn much, I hear his voice. I hear the Southern, or I hear the Louisiana accent every time I read his stuff. It's just like, oh, stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
That guy's too smart for his own good.
Oh, he man, I'll tell you what, he can figure stuff out. You look into his eyes and you see the wheels turning.
When he's not wearing the sunglasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
He's the weather guru for sure.
Oh, for sure. I've learned so much about thermals and weather just by watching his stuff.
Like
I've watched more of his videos than anybody else's. Like I've watched probably 150 of his 300 and something videos that he's made. Easily.
I had an interesting time with him on one flight. There was a front moving in, or a storm passing by, and we were out there. This was months and months ago, and I made a decision not to fly. And he was sitting there looking at it. He actually took a little bit of time to explain to us as a whole of, why that, it would be okay to fly, what the weather's doing. And at the end of it said, but, if you don't want to fly, you don't need to. So I flew. And it was one of the most butter smooth evenings, and so cool to be up in the air and watch this, this movement of clouds and storm dissipate off, as the sun's coming down, on the other side of it. It was really cool. I trust that, man. I really do.
Absolutely. So a couple weeks ago, Greg, we did a little experiment. I had mentioned you on a show, and you were in the chat, and I said, you guys got to check out this guy's YouTube channel. Click on his name right now and subscribe to his channel. And you got a bunch of, and you, I think it was right then you exceeded 1,000.
It was funny. It just went.
It's so cool. He pulled out his phone and he was like, we're watching the show, and he's looking at his phone and the numbers are going up.
It was amazing. Yeah.
How about we do the same thing for someone right now? Wouldn't that be cool? So
yeah, let's do it.
So there's someone in the chat I just noticed. I never met this person, but he just said, and he said, thank you to Kyle O. He just made a second flight tonight. So, and I just, as I sit here on my phone, I guess I'm subscribed to his channel.
Oh.
And his name is Bill Herman. Yes, I am subscribed.
I know that guy.
And so
I'm already subscribed to him.
There's 63 people watching right now. So minus the couple people that might, if you could, everybody, let's help Bill Herman out tonight. Click on his name. Okay.
Man,
just like this. And then if you get it, go to channel.
There we go.
Here he is.
And I'll do it at once.
26 subscribers. Okay, so I want to be 27. Click the bell icon.
So let me tell you a little story about Bill Herman.
Okay.
So for the time that I've been flying and going out and filming Kyle's students and stuff, those video series that I made a couple months ago, I met Bill about that time. And he would always go out there and, he'd be kiting wings and he'd be helping Kyle and stuff like that. The next time I'd see him, he had a couple, lessons, he's starting to kite more, but he didn't know if he was going to fly, blah, blah, blah. I just produced a video in which I flew the Atom 80 for the first time. Of course, I filmed it like about a month and a half ago, somewhere in there, 2 months ago. And I had asked Bill, he was out there kiting and stuff. No, he hadn't flown. He didn't know if he was going to. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, man, this guy's getting really good at kiting. He's ready to fly. And then come to find out about a week and a half ago, I think it was a week ago, he made his first flight. And I missed him when I was down there last week. He said, hey, you're going to be there? I was like, yeah, I'm going to be there. And unfortunately, he wasn't. So I'll see him on Friday, this upcoming Friday. So Bill is a really cool guy. He took a long time to learn. He was scraping pennies together. He was doing work. He was helping Kyle, stuff like that. So yeah, guys, give him those thumbs up. He's a super, super guy.
Share the love. Share the YouTube love.
Guys, thanks for being out there. It's so nice to help the little people, which we were doing.
49 subscribers now. Just like that, Bill.
Really?
Oh, man,
awesome.
So cool.
That's great.
He says, I'm not good at videos. Well, we're expecting good things for you.
Well, there you go. The pressure's on now. We expect great things.
Yeah, Bill, when I see you this upcoming Friday here, next week in 5 days, I'll give you what little pointers I have. But I'm going to be getting with Greg to get pointers, and whatever pointers I get from him, I will pass on to you.
Yeah, see, that's what I'll give you them for free, and then you sell them on. That's
hey, there we go.
So there you
Kyle
go.
said Bill's good at kiting. Yeah, he's real good at kiting. He had months of it.
Let's take a look there.
Really great.
Very good.
Just like that. He started at 26 and now he's got 51. He's almost doubled.
Superb.
How about that?
Wow.
That's
Oh,
just,
yeah.
Well done,
thank
guys.
you, everybody.
That's
There you
great.
go, Bill.
That's great.
Nice.
I've subscribed to so many paramotorist YouTubers, and like they don't even have to have like a bunch of subscribers. Just anyone who's got something to say, who's interesting. Like I'll check out. I'll watch anything. I've probably subscribed to over 50. No, I'm not kidding. Like 50 different, and some people have got like 20, 30 subscribers. Some people have got obviously 1 million now. And everything in between, and it's great. It's just lovely to connect with people that have the same passion and that you can learn from. And even if you don't learn anything, maybe they'll just entertain you. Like I don't think anyone's for certainly for the next while there's not much they're going to be able to learn from me. I mean, I'm just a noob, right? Maybe some filmmaking tips or something like that, but certainly it's my channel is kind of more for entertainment than anything at this
Don't
point.
forget-
Listen, Peter. We're expecting good things out of you, Mr. Jackson. Okay, so just knock it off and just keep it up.
Don't forget, there's things you can learn from someone's videos, and like mine, there's things you learn not to do from certain people's videos. Okay, so there's always something to learn.
Some of my best
like sit in your seat when you're taking off.
I don't sit in my seat much. I sit in my seat when I take off in my trike all the time. It's cool.
Oh, I sat in my seat almost immediately. I was about 3 feet off the ground.
Yeah.
I sit in my
Break a prop. I'm just helping my friends that sell props. That's all.
Yeah, actually, hey Dave, just to let you know, Kyle just fixed my prop on my Atom 80.
I know.
So-
You know what? And Rick, I'm sorry. We're gonna get 1 second, Rick. I just put on the props that Kyle fixed for me because I had to fix my Atom 80 and the piece that broke, and I threw on his props, and it's like, oh, these are so much smoother than the other props that I had on here. This is great. So Kyle's got those magic fingers. What's up, Rick?
Oh, you were talking about sitting in your seat. I was working on sats myself. I sat through the whole flight. I sat down and took off. I sat down and landed. Trike flyer, baby.
There you go.
That's what trikes.
Hey, I just want to let you know too, I have a Black Bull engine coming in, going on my small trike.
I heard that.
So guess what? Trike flyer will be flying here soon.
Yeah, we'll believe it when we see
Trike.
it.
I'm gonna film a video. I'm just gonna release it and just not even mention that I'm on a trike.
Yeah, just
In fact, I might even snap the camera to where you can't see my feet.
Yeah, whole video, just a headshot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking. And then mid-flight, turning around so you actually see the trike.
Awesome.
Yeah. Just tell a story about like how you're naked or something. So, just a
No, that
headshot.
would be Rick.
Just flying
Yeah.
naked, yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh, thanks, John. I'm glad you like that shirt, buddy. There you go. Love these shirts. And you can get the shirts if you want to buy one over at www.ourparamotornation.com. Hey, Rick Wetzel just said, how can we get Paranoob on? That's a great question. We should look into getting Paranoob
I
on.
love Paranoob stuff.
What's
I
that?
think I really love his videos. I think he's been having a hard time with the weather in the UK because it's just liquid sunshine all the time at the moment out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I found his show early on as well, his channel, and I really, really enjoy it. Yeah, it's really good stuff. So,
Yeah, we got to get him on. And
yeah.
if anybody else has any suggestions, you can always email me at paramotorcrazy@gmail.com of someone that you'd like to see on, and we'll try to get those folks on. Anthony Bella's already been on. He doesn't need to be on anymore. Done. Clint, anytime you want, buddy. Anthony?
Hey, Dave, I'm going to send that text that you and I were talking about the other day to get that guest on. I think you said the 8th. Remember the phone call we had the other day?
Yeah, sort of. I forgot.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I don't want to put him on the spot, so that's why I'm not saying his name. Anyway, I talked to him about a month ago. He said, yeah, no problem. Just let me know. So I'm just going to say, hey, we're available. So we'll
Right,
announce
it's
that
coming
once
back
we
to me. I forgot.
go. Yep. I know you talk to so many people in a day.
I just got a text message here from someone as we starting to get ready to close out the show here. I'm just going to read it to you. When we close out our show, this is from Todd Falstad. If everybody could keep Don Jordan. I met John at the Swanee Fly-In, actually in the bathroom. In our thoughts and prayers, he was injured today. No
Okay.
specifics, but just please say a prayer for Don tonight. And
Oh.
Okay.
recovers quickly.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah,
Great guy.
Don is a legend in the paramotor community. Taught a lot of people to fly. Great guy. Yeah.
Thank you, Todd. We'll definitely do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Well, any other questions for Cynthia or Greg?
I think they're tapped out.
They've heard all my jokes.
Yeah.
Show's over.
I have a question, Greg. When will the next video be released?
When it's probably going to be Friday, I think, if not before.
It's gonna be of you flying.
I'm trying to do a video a week, and I've been pretty consistent with that. But with the first flights and the lead up to that, it was really we just shut everything down just to focus in and make sure that we were ready for it, and that there were no distractions. So there's probably a 2-week delay between the last one and the next one. It's gonna be this weekend, Friday, I should think it'll probably go out. But I don't know, because that's the biggest video so far, that I wanted to put out. So it's going to take me a while to figure out.
Oh yeah, he's going to need to brew that one and make it perfect upon perfect.
It's going to be the weekend for sure.
Yeah. So there's a couple questions in the chat that just came up, and one of them is from Sean Nafsker. How much time do you spend editing most of your videos? Great question.
Yeah.
Great question.
Yeah. Okay.
Reveal your secret.
I don't know, like 50 or 60 hours, probably.
No.
Something like that. It's a huge chunk. I'm not over exaggerating. It's a lot of time. Like, it's a lot of time. I treat them like I would treat any professional project.
That's including filming, right?
That's including filming. So it's from filming, from collecting all of the footage to because as you guys know, with using the Insta360, it gives you more time back when you're filming with the camera, because you put it on and you're recording and that's it. But then you have a thing called free capture or over capture, where you load this footage into the iPad and then you use the iPad as the viewfinder after the fact to collect the footage. That takes a huge amount of time. And then transferring the footage into the iPad is real time. So if you have an hour of footage, it takes an hour to put into the iPad. And then once you've added in the motion data, like Rick's doing right there, you then have to render it. You then render it out of the iPad into my computer, and then from there I drop it onto the timeline, and then I start cutting the shots out. So it takes longer to use an Insta360. If you're about getting footage out as quickly as possible, don't use an Insta360. It takes a lot longer, but creatively it gives you so much freedom. It's worth the extra time for me. So I think I'm saying it's almost a full-time job. I see the editing is anything between 20 and 40 hours per edit, which is why I get up at 4:30 every morning, and I put in 2.5 hours every day before I start work, and then I'll do another hour or two at the end of the day as well.
Wow,
it's hardcore.
Yeah.
So I let everybody ask questions in the chat, and I'm going to ask Craig Taylor would like to know how does Greg and Anthony Vella get the hot chicks?
Thank you. We're just lucky guys, I guess. I don't know.
It's the accent.
It's the
accent. Every woman out there, if you guys all agree, it's the accent.
It's completely false. It's not actually my real accent.
More fake news. John Rivera would like to know what's been the hardest thing for you so far. I'm assuming that's in regards to learning to fly.
The hardest thing, honestly, for me, it's the waiting. It was the waiting. It's been, and I mean, anybody that gets into PPG and then they do the training and then they have that wait for the weather to be right, it's painful enough. But when I had so many people messaging me and writing in the comment section, saying like, when are you going to fly? When's your first flight? Or I put a video out and they say, that's excellent. Can't wait to see your first flight. So there was that pressure as well on top of it. So and the hardest thing was not flying, because I wanted to fly to get that video out there, but at the same time I wanted to make sure that the conditions were right, so we did it safely and set a good example. Because ultimately, if we're making these videos and putting them out there, we've got to be good ambassadors to the sport. So I can only do that if I fly when it's right. So it was just
I disagree.
Tough.
Listen, if you crashed, that would have gone viral.
Yeah.
What a tree, man. Your life will change.
What it is.
People do.
So true.
And for you, Sin, what's been the
By the way,
well, I haven't flown, but I have to say, and I'm not normally a very nervous person, and I'm very, but I have to say, when my turn was up to attempt to launch, like my heart just went. And I think that was the scariest and hardest thing for me, is having the paramotor on your back and making sure you're not forgetting anything, being all clipped in, having your brakes in your hand with your throttle, with trying to figure out where the wings going and the A's, like just all of that orchestration.
So much to think about.
That'd be so tough. That'd be like getting on the space shuttle, fly, and then all of a sudden they cancel the mission.
Yeah.
And you were right there.
Yeah. Then that was the other hard thing, was kind of dealing with the ego and the,
you'll get there.
All of that, and the crying a little bit and the deception. It was like I was really, really disappointed, but I knew, and it only took me about maybe an hour and a half to really get that, you know what, this is the best thing that can happen, because I learned so much out of failure, or like it wasn't even a failure. It was like a successful non-flight.
It was an utter success. Choosing not to fly today was an absolute success.
And it's David, our instructor. Yeah. Sorry, David.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
He told me straight up, he's like, you didn't fail at anything. Failing is when you break stuff. Like you break your prop and you fall on your butt and you get hurt and stuff. He's like, you didn't fail at anything. You just didn't fly today. And I was like, yep, you're right. And
I used to say, I used to have a lot of learning experiences.
Yeah, and I really like the saying, it's better to be on the ground wishing you were in the air than in the air wishing you were on the ground.
Yeah.
You're going to find
a lot of flying with these guys at fly-ins. There's a lot of broken egos and crying that goes on. So I understand.
Oh yeah.
Cynthia, you're going to find as you go on, there's a few thoughts here. Is the mark of a good pilot is the one that can walk away.
I agree.
Landings are never optional, ever. Takeoffs are.
Yeah.
And to be able to walk away from a flight is a mark of a good pilot. The other thing too is that the good news is that even though it's terrifying to put that motor on, get that throttle in your hand, get those brakes set, get your A set, and the thought of getting that wing up, starting to power, back straight, posture, power, run in the air is terrifying. The good news is with practice, after you have 20 or 30 flights, it's automatic. Your body just, you don't even think about it.
Wow, that's really good news.
So your first flight is going to be terrifying because, you're putting all that stuff in your hands. You have all this stuff to think about. You're going to be running off the air. Oh, my God. But let me tell you, once you get off the air, you think that takeoff is terrifying. The second you break ground, that's where the real terror hits you. At the same time as that's where the real joy hits you. It is terrifying. It is joyful. And it lasts for about a minute and a half till you get up there. Usually your instructor will say, you know what, take a deep breath, take a look to your left, take a look to your right. Okay, I just want you to make a light circle and look around and enjoy it. And that's where the hook is. That's where you're going to swallow it, hook, line, and sinker.
Wow.
So
Thanks for saying that. It's
an amazing, amazing journey. That's a lot of the reason why I go out and film new pilot solo flights, is because I get off on that. It's just the coolest thing to see.
Watching first flight videos. They're probably my favorite to watch. Like Flight Test, the guys at Flight Test did a series about paramotors, and there's one video where I think 3 or 4 of them did their first flights in succession, and I must have watched that damn video 20 times. Like it's
one of the videos that got me. That was one of the videos along with Tucker.
Really. And Josh is a really, really great. He
really is. Yeah, good
his
people.
team as well. It's just that their videos are fantastic as well. I mean, I'm hooked on all things aviation and YouTube and paramotoring and RC and stuff like that. I love it. I love it all. I don't watch TV anymore. We don't even have a TV. We just watch stuff on our laptop, and that's it.
I got to spend time with Josh Bixler and his son training, and they really are that.
Oh yeah. He's such a lovely guy. I've spoken to him a couple of times. Really cool. Yeah.
Here's another question.
I watched
Mike King. Go ahead, Dave.
Oh, Mike. Yeah. Hey, Mike.
Oh, I was gonna say I don't watch TV either. I either watch Net Geo or History, or I watch Paramotor Crazy, PPG Gorilla, Nicole in Flight, or this guy Kyle Oakley. You may have heard of him.
Nicole doesn't have videos, does she? Mike King wants to know, Greg and Cynthia, how much audio do you actually record during the video, or is it all voiceover? As I find I'm always quiet when I'm focused on flying, so don't talk. So he doesn't talk when he's flying or when he's recording.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, today I don't think I spoke at all during my my first or second flight. I screamed a couple of times, and that will definitely be. And they heard it from the ground, and I was at full throttle. And I was 500 feet off the ground, and they still heard me screaming. I don't know how I'm going to handle the audio side of things when I do start doing the sort of vlogging when I'm up there.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole nother monster.
Yeah, well, actually, Rick, the video you put out, not the latest one, but the one before that, where you talk about the audio, I found. Actually, no, sorry, no, it was you, wasn't it, Dave?
Yep, it was me.
You tested it. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I found that audio to be really good. Actually, I think there's some improvements you could do in the back end using something called a graphic EQ, which splits.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about that. I remember reading that comment, but yeah, I can give you the base of what I use. I copied it honestly off Kyle and Tucker. I copied with what they did, and then started kind of going into my own thing. I use now a different mic than Kyle does. But I'll give you the base of it when you're ready. Just work on your flights before you really start getting into the video stuff, because you'll fly yourself into a tree or something.
No. We're not going to be doing a lot of videoing initially with me flying. We'll go back and we'll do a few other things and just kind of share our general day to day. I'm not gonna do any crazy filming until I feel ready, and that could be 10, 20, 30 hours. I don't know. Like, it's just one.
You'll find it, or I have found it very challenging to sync up the audio from the Insta360.
Yeah.
The video from the Insta360 with the audio from my GoPro 7. And I find myself trying to look at my lips and sync it in, because you got good audio from the 7.
Yeah.
Usually when you're in flight, you don't have any usable audio from the Insta360.
What do you edit with?
Premiere Pro.
Premiere Pro. There's an auto function to sync audio with video, but if you've got, it won't work if you've got like a loud. The best thing is if you can, like, to just clap your hands as loud as you can is something you can.
And I'll do that audio sync in the beginning. But with my Insta, a lot of times I'll start it and stop it in flight. So I'll have these.
Oh yeah.
And you forget to clap your hands again.
I'll tap my microphone 3 times, and I can see that in the video, and that kind of works like the audio sync. So
yeah, okay. I mean, it's just frame by framing it, just zooming in on the timeline and just checking it out and dragging it back 1 frame, play again, and not quite right, drag it back 1 frame, play it again. And sometimes you'll realize that you're dragging the clip the wrong direction, and you're actually going the right thing. And that, I still do that now. There's no real fix for that other than just patience.
I've got a few videos that look like a bad old kung fu movie where my lips
yeah, I've seen a few.
It's like you're totally dubbed.
Yeah. And the other thing you can do as well is in the video window. Sorry, I'm getting really technical here, guys. You can zoom in, say 100% in the video window, and then reframe your face. You can see your mouth clearer, and then do it that way. But it really is just trial and error and patience. There's no quick, easy fix to that one, unfortunately.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got a couple of other questions here. I know we've gone longer than a normal show, and I hope you guys are okay with that. If you're not,
we still have 57 people watching. So
I know. And then I've got a couple people said they want to just say hi to you personally in the after show, and if they can jump in. So if that's okay with you.
Yeah,
awesome.
sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll put out the code in a little bit. Let's get through a couple more questions here real quick. Bart Berry, I don't know if you guys have seen Scary Barry's videos. He's fantastic.
I've heard of this fellow. Yeah,
the Scary Barry one.
He's a good guy.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He says, "Are you so Scary Barry does? He started off triking, and then he went to foot launching. He actually had died like 12 times, and he'll tell you about that. But he's living now. Cynthia has got what did you just say?" So Bart wants to know if you're interested in wheel launching in the future. And I know, Greg, you and I had a conversation about that earlier this week.
Yeah, I am for a very unique reason. I think that there's a project I would love to do in the future, which is a completely off the wall crazy project, which is an electric paramotor setup using a trike where you can jettison the trike after the batteries have run flat. So you could potentially fly for 4, 5, or 6 hours of an electric paramotor. And what you do is I don't know how it would work with the size of the wing and how the weight would shift after you jettison the thing. But imagine that you're flying with an electric paramotor and you run the batteries flat on the trike and you get low to the ground and you pull a pin and the damn thing falls away. And now you're using the batteries that are remaining on your backpack, and you could set some kind of new world record flying in the air. Somebody with more money and time than me is probably going to do that before I ever do, but that would be a fun project. I got some crazy ideas like that's the only one I'm telling you about.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
I want to see you and Anthony develop. We had mentioned it earlier. I want to see you and Anthony collaborate and develop a TV show like PBS or History involving paramotoring.
That would be really cool. I'd be totally up for that.
I think between the two of you, you two are badass enough to be able to do something like that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We're definitely going to be meeting them at some point in 2020. So, and we've already spoken a little bit about some potential collaborations.
Yeah, I'll say stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Happen.
That's awesome.
I see it like a reality show.
And I love that you came up with it. I don't know if you've been talking or whatever, but I love that you came up with that.
Yeah.
That idea.
Well, it's funny with what I do for a living. I've always wanted to produce a video series called Bowyers, BOWYER, bow builder, bow and arrow.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
But I don't have the technical and videography to be able to do something like that. I've got the time and I've got the money, but I don't have the cameraman and stuff like that to be able to do it. And I've always wanted to do it off a series of OC choppers, versus the duck hunters down in Louisiana type thing, something like that. Because the reality of this place and what I do for a living, you could very easily do it. But when Dave had mentioned, there is no TV show about paramotors, the thought instantly hit me, why couldn't you get somebody like Anthony Bella and Greg and, hell, Tucker, who is awesome at, telling the story. Get these people together and actually do a series that releases once a month or once every 3 months or whatever.
I think
it would be absolutely amazing.
We have some characters, that's for sure.
Oh, for sure. There's so many characters in this thing, and I think that the rate that the sport is growing right now, which is crazy compared to say 10 years ago, thanks to YouTube. I think that it's only a matter of time. Whoever ends up doing that, it's just a matter of time, because it's really it's. I don't know if it's going to become mainstream, but it's certainly going to be like, watch the space in 10 years. It's going to be, so many people say to me right now when I say I'm getting into paramotoring, what's paramotoring? Yeah. Like that, we're going to start hearing that question less and less as the years roll on now. People won't be asking what's paramotoring anymore. They'll go, it will just be known, I think so.
Well, I'll tell you, if you and Anthony ever do talk that way, in fact, Anthony even said something to that effect of, if you guys ever do talk about that, I want to know about it. We'll just leave it at that.
All right. All right. I'll start calling you boss.
No. Hey, Dave, do me a favor. I don't know if Kyle, but I know last week or the week before Kyle asked to go into the after show. I don't have my phone stuff up. So if you're going to send links out, make sure you send him one.
You know what I'm going to do right now, Dave? And so we're just going to keep on going. And because I don't see any more questions. We're just going to keep this thing going right here live. So watch your language, everybody. But what I'm going to do right now, and let's see if this works, in the chat, I'm trying to send a link. Yeah, so if you can just...
Cynthia and Greg, welcome to your first After Dark.
Oh my God.
Yay!
After Dark, but we're staying live. So if someone could try...
ever. Oh, here we go. The shirt's coming off.
No.
It's After Dark.
There we go. Sean NASCAR's in. I guess that link worked that I posted. That's great. Hey, Sean.
This ain't Florida, man. I'm putting my shirt back on.
Oh my God,
hey, brother, how you doing? Good to see you.
I'm not going if you're not.
Hello.
There he is.
Look at my new shirt. This ain't Florida, man. I'm putting my shirt.
Hey, look.
Hey, Kyle. Kyle. Much love, buddy.
Got a great shirt on.
Seriously, Kyle, thank you so much for
Like
the
the Greg
advice.
Anthony World
He's
thing.
not in.
Like Greg Anthony Harris. Like,
Let me get the earplugs in here. Yeah.
Hey,
Oh,
Kyle.
Kyle.
Yeah. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I
Kyle's
can hear
got
you.
a green
Hey, man,
shirt on,
thank
eh?
you so much for the advice. I'm gonna try to get out there on Friday. It looks good. I'm gonna try to do everything you were telling me to do. So thank you very, very much.
What? You're coming to his para party?
I wish I was.
Oh,
That would be epic.
I thought you said you're getting out there Friday. I'm like, really?
No, I said I'm gonna get out on Friday and try to do all the stuff that Kyle was telling me I should do.
Oh, gotcha.
Quit landing on people and
Quit landing on people.
control. Yeah.
Are we getting the hair
What's
out?
up, Sean?
Hair out. Should I get the hair out?
What's up, y'all?
Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
Look at you.
There
Greg.
you are.
There you go.
Oh, it's such a mess.
yeah, that's after being in a buff all day. He
I had some
pulls
crazy
down. He looks like
feedback there for a
Fabio. He's just like,
Out now.
Hey, John Rivera wants to, Rick Wetzel wants to know. how-
Anthony.
Hey.
There he is.
Come on.
hey, he's not wearing any pants. I saw that.
Good Lord.
Oh,
Leandra.
Leandra.
Oh, it's so nice to hang out with
Wow.
everybody at the after
We
show.
saw
It's
the
so
we saw
cool.
the shirts coming off, and so we started ripping the clothes off too.
But we are still live.
Yeah.
Hi guys.
Hey, what's up, Leandra and Anthony?
He's totally
What's he doing? Yeah, he's
in
in
his undies.
No.
Hey,
These are short shorts, as y'all know.
short shorts. That makes
y'all
it all
like my
better.
new shirt? How about this shirt, right?
That's
Very
That is classic, man.
Seriously.
Wearing a green shirt.
Yeah,
I have no idea what happened.
You're wearing a green shirt, aren't you?
You didn't do that on purpose?
No,
No
this is
way.
just what popped up.
Love it.
It looks
Man,
all-
I want one.
Yeah. Can
Greg,
you
we were.
change your shirt? Just make it like come up with another image.
Notice that.
We were like,
Oh.
Greg was wearing a bandana, but now he's not wearing the bandana, and we were just
We were
wondering, like,
wondering like, what's it look like under there?
what's going on?
Getting a bit long.
Yeah, why do you hide that?
I don't know why I
know-
even have long hair because I'm always wearing this damn thing.
He has the most amazing lush hair, and it's always under a buff or in a
It-
ponytail because he hates having it in his face.
I just want
Like,
to.
he
I just want to
can't-
be like Kylo because
can't
he wears
do
buffs all the
this.
time.
You know what? I had the same problem, Greg. I had the same problem. My hair was down. No, I'm dead serious. My hair was long enough to be down to my belt line on
Right.
my back. So I put the dreads in. Now
Yeah.
on Facebook, I took photos each step we did, and basically, I did the dreads to keep the hair out of my face when I was kiting because
Yeah.
I kite so much. Like I would demo kites at kite festivals,
Uh-huh.
show people what they could do with them. Well, when the wind's blowing this direction and you're like this,
Oh yeah.
it goes nowhere but in your face. So we did the dreads. It took my hair all the way up to here. All right.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't flying in my face anymore.
Yeah.
And this stuff, I mean, it just stays back there.
Yeah.
You just
Bloody-
pull it back
Pretty
and
heavy though. Must be pretty heavy.
No,
it's
you're
not that heavy
100%.
until you get it wet. Now, when you get it wet, then it gets heavy.
Okay. I may have to read it.
But just think of this though, you'll never need a comb again.
Not dreading it there. I have full control.
Todd Scandrett is with us here. I think he's in the men's room somewhere.
What are you doing in a men's room?
Hey Todd.
What's that? No, I'm actually in my my trailer. I'm actually working on putting in some more shelving and cabinet space.
Did you
Oh,
did you
awesome.
put that sign up that said cuddle zone here? Like we
No, but I do have a sign that says it's for me.
I can't see it. I can't see. I can't read the sign. Notice
Is it backwards?
lawful,
I totally couldn't hear Todd. I heard a toilet flush.
lawful concealed carry permitted on premises.
There you go.
Oh no no
Congratulations, Dave. You're demonetized.
no.
There it is.
Cynthia has
So
a
good until
different
then.
perspective.
Hey, Leandra, you better get away from my man. Just saying.
Too bad you're not here, Todd.
Now we gotta go when we upload our videos. Now we gotta punch in that this is not permitted for children under 18.
Explicit.
Explicit content.
Hey, Dave, just to let you know, they remonetized the whole fly-in video.
Oh, good.
So
they must have realized those were fake breasts.
yeah, probably so.
Is that a light up shirt?
What's up, Sarah?
Did I miss a video or something?
Sarah.
There was breasts.
Sarah's here.
What video did I miss?
Hey, what's up, Sarah?
Oh, it was Rick's video, or Rick's T-shirt he wore with the breasts.
Gotcha.
Yeah, if you catch the swatting fly-in,
Yeah,
it's in there. It's in there.
What is happening with that shirt?
I don't know.
Man,
I'm wondering
Kyle,
what's
I
happening with
want
that hand that's rubbing your hair.
No,
Oh,
my nude spouse just walked in here. I was threatening to point the camera at her, and she said, "I better not."
You know, I think what it is Kyle's experimenting with a new drug in his pharmacy where it affects everybody on the planet
Yeah, exactly,
but him,
except
and his
him.
shirt looks like that because
Y'all been roofied.
Start calling you Star Lord.
We've been Oaklead.
They have like virtual drugs now.
I might
I
start
knew it
doing this
wasn't a good
effect for
idea.
every video. I don't even know how I did it. I'm not sure. I like it.
I knew it wasn't a good idea to get water at your house.
Oh, we got great water,
Happy
man.
accident. Oh my God. That's
How many people are you expecting for the party, Kyle?
All of them.
All of them.
What's the date? What's the date of that pair party?
It's Friday, Saturday,
the
Sunday.
daring answer.
Yeah, it's next weekend, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Coming
it's
up.
this coming.
Yeah. Yeah, after Thanksgiving.
That's
I
pretty
do
close.
prepared to go to Kylo's parties.
Yeah,
I
we
knows
have
how to throw a
Thursday,
party.
Friday, Saturday,
feeling.
Sunday.
Do you have RV parking?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, full hookups.
Oh. You can come in and use the
Electric
bathrooms
bill.
and stuff. Like, in fact, you don't even need the RV. You could just sleep in the house, right? Like we open the house up.
Anthony,
for
bring your
everybody.
RV, man. Bring your
Yeah.
RV and
Bring a
park right
mattress.
next to me.
Bring
I'm
like
bringing
a
mine.
mattress and a pillow.
If I was
Hey,
10
we're
hours
thinking-
closer, I would be making it for sure.
Absolutely.
Hey, you could drive to us and then we'll all go over there.
I
Really?
think
Well,
you're
I've already
further than
driven
Kyle
to
is
you.
from me.
Your turn.
Next year for sure. 2020, definitely. Love to. Epic.
But yeah, you know, if anybody ever wants to just come over,
He's like,
Hey, Kyle.
stay here.
Kylo, do you need a
Close,
friend?
we're usually fine.
I just want friends over.
Yeah.
No,
If
honest to
we
God,
have to
Kyle,
go on.
Kyle's honest about that though, because I swung by just to see him, and I ended up going to a friend's birthday party with him one night. So
You
he
know-
is a consummate host. He's awesome. So
You
When-
know
when-
what? I went to a birthday party at that same place last night, Todd, and
oh
there
no
was
shit.
smoked ribs and delicious food. It was great. Enjoyed it again.
No, your hospitality is awesome, man. I appreciate it so much. It makes it so much fun.
Yeah.
That
yeah, I
man
love
can
you
cook a
guys. It's,
taco. Let me tell you. Last year they had tacos at the parent party. Oh my God, they were off the hook.
I gotta imagine those would be some good tacos.
I think I'm doing gumbo this year.
This is so great.
Oh,
Greg and I were trying to give
boudin?
all you some nicknames. So Taco Kylo really suits, right?
That's awesome.
Taco Glee.
Taco Glee.
hey, Kyle,
Yeah,
is there
I've
any
got
boudin
that
for a poor East Texan?
I've got boudin.
All right. I'll be there Friday.
Smoked boudin.
So that's like someone on my video today said you don't have a camper, now you've got a what do you call it? A pamper? A
Clamper.
A glamper.
Clamper.
A clamper.
Camper.
Jennifer calls it my box. She says I'm going to sleep in my box.
In your box.
Yeah. Get in the box.
Oh gosh.
Not even a
How
dog
bad.
house. It's like worse.
Yeah.
How
When I
low
built
can
it,
you
I
go?
decided that I was going to just chill in it, right? To make sure that it worked. And then,
We got Ripa.
Rip Man.
Rippa.
Good man.
Yeah, sure enough.
Rip man, hey man, how you doing?
Who that is.
Remember?
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Say hi, John.
Emma.
He's still having technical difficulties, maybe. I don't know.
Hey, Rippa! Right here, buddy.
Take a few seconds.
That's confusing.
I gotta say, this is such a thrill to be hanging out with you guys. Like I've watched so many of all of your videos. It's just like this is awesome.
Greg's fanboying right now.
I'm
You know,
just,
when-
I'm really fanboying right now.
Speaking of videos, Greg, you know, you
It's
could
not worth it.
probably do like half the editing time and still tell the entire story, and nobody would even notice on YouTube. Half the people are watching it on their phones anyway, right?
Yeah, but you know what? I'm not. I'm making the videos for me first.
That's
So
right. That's
you know,
right. That's where it starts.
That's why. I mean, I wish I wasn't, because it would make my life so much easier. But I just these are the videos I want to watch, so I do that. It's tiring stuff, but it's worth it. I love it.
See, I'd do that, but it'd take me like a whole month to do one video, and then I'm talking like a month straight, no sleep.
The quicker as you go, the more you do, the
That's
quicker.
when the drugs come in.
You just practice. That's what it is. Just practice. You get faster.
So you guys took your first flights. I called like the tail end of that conversation.
Well,
I got my first non-flight.
I flew. Cynthia did.
Yeah.
Yeah, successful.
Was it close?
Well,
Not so much. I'll say not so much. Like there
No?
was a lot of technical, I don't want to say, I guess, difficulties.
Well,
or-
it's the harness on the Paramotor that we have is perfect for me, but it's too big for Cynthia. Cynthia's only 5 foot tall. She's got really thin shoulders, so it just gets
Yeah.
off of her shoulders.
Proper fitment is very important for sure.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
like
so we just need a different harness. We need a small split leg harness, and I think it would be absolutely fine. But just the harness we had on there, it was just slipping off her shoulders too much, and she was having to hold the whole Paramotor up with her arms rather than.
Oh yeah.
I have that same problem.
I need to come down here. Let me throw her on my little tiny
I'd
one.
love that.
Oh,
We were
that'd
talking
be
about that. We're
awesome.
like, maybe I could go take my first flight with Kylo.
Maybe we could just go do
Bring it.
exactly.
Bring it.
Yeah.
Todd's got that same problem. Those dainty shoulders.
Those little dainty shoulders,
Shoulders.
that slim frame.
Yeah.
Show him. What am
I mean, she had it.
Leandra, have you got any more
Could
in?
have done it,
I
but
don't know.
it was
Last
just
we heard.
Hey guys,
I felt like one of
Guys.
those kids with the 2 heavy backpacks, you know, like the kids that run in school, it's so heavy it starts falling off.
that was it.
It was like that. Yeah.
My shadow
Hey,
feels the same way.
I want to put somebody on the spot real quick since we have them both in the same place. You notice
better, y'all.
that Knitting Lady is online, with us right now, and so is her instructor Kylo Glee. So we need to hear from the Knitting Lady when she's actually going to go get her first flight.
It's a dog. The dog.
Oh, she is.
She's just sitting there.
Carl's dog.
Is she knitting?
Yes, actually, she is knitting.
Ah, yay!
Is that a scarf?
It's a wing. It's not
It
gonna.
is.
It's Anthony Vella's new wing.
It's funny you say that because I am knitting a wing.
Yes, you and me both.
No, it's fun. It's fun to hang on the Christmas tree.
Oh.
Very cool.
Oh, there's a dog.
Kyle, your dog.
Yeah, it's
Anthony,
choppy, y'all.
I told Greg early in this week, I said, Anthony's going to ask that question. And I said, this is what we have to do. And Greg is such a nice guy. He's like, I don't want to offend him. I don't want to hurt his feelings. I'm like, no, we're doing this to Anthony.
It's like, okay.
Oh,
I even made
I
him
know.
practice it today.
I was like, abort.
Oh, he did in
abort.
pre-show, man. It was hilarious.
Like, this is backfiring.
Yeah, hey, realize that unlike the hospitality of Kylo Glee, who will take you to a friend's birthday party, Anthony Vella will actually leave town when he knows you're coming to visit.
Really?
I'll go to the other side of the country.
He
Yeah,
set up
the
that
2 or 3
interview-
times I've ever been through, he's left town.
he set up a news interview for me with the local news channel, and then he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to be in Vermont."
Yeah. No,
So-
it's like I was in North Carolina. I'm like, this is the only chance I can go there because I know you won't be there.
Wow.
Burn. Double burn.
And you
Well,
still
actually, hey, Anthony, if it makes you feel any better, listen, last year I was here in North Carolina where I am right now. And I was like, hey, Todd, you know, I really need to test this foot launch out. I haven't flown foot launch in a while. You know, let's go. He every time, he would like cancel out on me. So I had to take it back to Louisiana. I had to take it back to Louisiana where, you know, Kai and Kylo Glee actually sat there and supervised me to get off the ground, which happened to be a non-event. And it wasn't until this parapart or this parafly-in thing that I actually got to meet Todd a year later.
No, I came over and met you at the Renaissance Fair.
That's true. That is true. I was hoping you wouldn't remember that.
Yeah.
Do they serve whole chickens?
Good stuff. Actually, he brought me a hat and gave me a huge. I'll tell you what, that man can hug. I mean, I'm not that way, but that man can hug.
Yeah.
Oh, you're that way now.
After that hug, yeah, probably so.
You're the flavor of the day. Sucker. That's so funny.
Hey, Leandra, are you coming out to Arizona with Anthony in February?
Oh, he's going.
That was our chance, Todd. That was our chance.
Oh, it can still be our chance.
Exclusive cuddling.
I mean, I go where he goes, Todd. I'm sorry to tell you this.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. You're much more enjoyable to hang out with than he is.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. That's going to be really, really awesome for the organization, especially since there's going to be a couple fly-ins and then it'll be an opportunity to advocate for it, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping that we can swing by the Arizona Flying Circus.
Yeah.
Get into there. So that should be pretty cool.
That's really cool because then you can reach out to individuals who are outside of paramotoring, who are just aviation enthusiasts, and maybe bring them to the dark side of paramotoring.
I just wish I knew somebody that could really make some awesome videos to kind of help with that advocacy.
Greg Anthony Harris is on. You're in luck.
Well, he's still waiting for his passport to come through. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I ask him every time that I call Greg, I'm like, so how's that passport coming along?
How often do you call him? Because you never call me. I mean, I send you messages and you're like,
no. Too much.
Yeah, what's up with that, Anthony? I'm still waiting for a phone call.
Oh yeah. The
it's
service.
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
There.
Oh no.
Look at this.
There we go. And now I've done.
And that is why I got demonetized for like a week.
Oh, that is harsh.
Oh, so this is gonna get demonetized as well then.
Oh yeah.
He get me to go in a trailer with him after that, and I couldn't do it.
I should have finished.
No,
watching that
actually,
video.
YouTube remonetized it like about a week later. They took me down for about a week, and then they put it back up. So.
And they said that's what it was. They said that was why they demonetized, or did they?
They never gave me a reason. Although that isn't well, that's one of the worst things we had in the video that night. It was off the hook. It was. But in all fairness, before it really started, I did say, okay, hey guys, when these guys come back in, this is going to turn into rated R. This is not work friendly, blah, blah, blah. So
it was flown from a different organ later than that.
We took Todd out for his birthday to Pepe's grocery store and Mexican restaurant.
Oh, it was awesome. Well, first of all,
I'm still finding stuff from that store.
So we went to this barbecue place first. There was like 30 of us that walked in, and it was a 2-hour wait. So we got there. The only place that could accommodate us was this Pepe's grocery store and restaurant. And you just watch the videos of mine and Rick's, and we just took over the whole place.
Yeah,
crazy funny.
That was funny.
It was fun. It was awesome.
So I see the fake breast that everyone was referring to now. I remember seeing that video. I wanted to forget, but now it's just burnt into my vision.
Oh,
You
Sean,
wanted to forget, dear Lord.
there's stuff that never made it that you don't ever want to see that have been burned in my retinas.
Found it through a Google search rather than your already subscribed list.
This is why Rick is beating me in subscribers, is because they have me put this crap up on my channel, not theirs.
I do have to say that it is kind of hard to keep up with the show when there's different hosts each time. Sometimes notifications are great, but sometimes like we're so notified on everything that it just becomes overwhelming, and yeah.
I wonder how many subscribers we have collectively in this chat right now. It'd be interesting to figure that out.
Like
I have a feeling that
250, maybe.
I have a feeling that every one of my subscribers is probably subscribed to everybody else's on here.
Yeah, maybe. I'm certainly subscribed to everybody here.
Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah.
Share the love, man. Share the love.
Kyle's cranking numbers right now.
Want to fly like birds, right?
Well, I remember Kyle and Anthony when they were just young pups, when Kyle was back at like 2000 and now he's up over 8,000, and Anthony Vella just climbed like a rocket. So
yeah,
makes good videos.
It's Leandra.
That's right.
Yeah.
My
Clickbait.
tip
Yeah,
worked.
for Kyle.
I said, put Leandra on
Kyle,
the thumbnail. Boom, clicks.
Yeah.
If my
For
subscriber
Kyle,
count
it's called good content.
relationship's over.
Terrible. You're terrible.
Oh, tough crowd.
Well,
Hey, remember, I loved him first.
Todd,
Yeah, but you didn't love him last.
Did you love the most?
Todd, how high is that trailer? Your head's hitting the roof.
The inside is 6'3".
I've been.
And I am 6'3".
Okay.
all right,
Got
guys.
my buddy here. He wanted to say hi to everybody.
Hey, I love you all, but I gotta go. I gotta sign off. I gotta go to bed, man. Thank you guys. Greg and Cynthia, thank you. Everybody have a
Thanks,
good
thanks, Rick.
Good night, Rilla.
Bring the dog back. Bring the dog back.
Love you, Rick.
Oh God, here we go.
There he goes. There he is.
Oh, God.
Please, no.
Demonetize, please don't. Don't.
Hey, they're not as short as Anthony's.
That's how you drop the mic, right?
And I can turn his teeth.
Somehow I'm glad I'm not looking at the screen.
Yep, that's PPG Gorilla.
Yeah.
Down and out.
Did the fluid come from an artificial one, or was that actually?
Sarah, you know Todd. You met Todd.
I know Todd. I know Trey.
You would forget the Anthony guy. He's not important. And then Sean.
Brennan in the
Hey, what's up, Brennan?
How's it going?
Oh,
He's
chilling.
talking Kyle.
Hey, so I got a question for Greg and Cynthia regarding the relationship with David and Kangook. Where do you see him going and trying to push more exposure for that brand here in the States?
I don't know really. I think it's a very, very good brand. It's a solid paramotor. We love the guys, at the factory. They're all just such a talented group of engineers.
They're such a great team.
Really. So I
good.
don't know really. I think he obviously wants to expand into the US more, and I think that he's got a really good shot at doing that.
I mean, he's still climbing back up from that.
Yeah, they had this huge
From the
fire.
fire,
It was a huge hit for them, and like to think of what they've been able to achieve in a short period of time after such a horrific thing that happened is just like it's pretty mind blowing, to be honest. But he's got so much determination, so much talent in that team. So I think we can expect great things from him in the future. I really do.
And in regards to the US, I don't think we're clear. Like, we don't really know.
No, we're not really that up on it, to be honest. No.
All I know is he's coming up. They're always working on their products.
Constantly innovating.
Innovating. Yeah. Even recently, I don't know if you saw the new models. Like the cages are closed out much more than the old cages were.
Yeah.
It looks
Right,
I
yeah.
saw this. I saw
Yeah.
this on y'all's video. I think
Yeah, it's a beautiful
Yeah.
looking
Yeah,
machine,
yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
just like
those
it's,
big gaps were like a big safety concern.
Yeah. And
I've known several
ours
people that
is
have had their toggles eaten in those gaps, and
yeah, there's
they
Yeah.
gaps.
haven't
There's
put
gaps
it on
of
the internet either. But that was a
Yeah.
problem with those
yeah.
old frames.
But
As a
they're
matter of
even
fact-
coming up. Sorry?
As a matter of fact, I remember when I was in training, Kyle was like, "Oh, the brake heater," and I'm like, "Really?"
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
The other thing as well is if I as far as I'm aware, like I'm obviously I'm still very new to this, but you know, if you have the hang point set correctly, and you stow your brakes, and then it shouldn't, you know, it shouldn't be an issue either way. But if you've got the hang
Yeah,
point
and
set
typically
wrong-
when it happened was when people were fumbling, like getting in the seat and leaning forward out of the harness.
exactly,
Guys
yeah,
that
yeah.
had been flying them for years with no issues, and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
there'd be one time they would you know, toggle would slip, they would fumble forward a bit, something, rump, there it went. And
Yeah, exactly. So you know, it's,
you know,
it's,
but
you
to
gotta
take the hole away
responsibility.
takes the
Yeah.
whole issue out of play there.
For
So I'm
sure.
glad they fixed it. I'm sorry it took them so long though. That,
Yeah. Well, it's you
like,
know
it's been an issue for numerous years, I believe.
Has it? Oh,
Kevin?
no, I haven't heard. Don't know.
yeah.
But yeah, they have like the one that we have is kind of like a bit of a transition hybrid of what they're now putting out. I think the new model.
Yeah, they got a new model coming out at some point, which is
Tell you my best Kanguk story ever though. A guy showed up with one. He had went to a school, and the guy obviously was not a very good instructor, and they had set his motor up completely backwards, where all the torque offsets were on the opposite than what they were supposed to be. So they
double
all
torquing?
added to the torque
Oh.
versus taking it away. And he was telling the guy that it was wrong, and the guy assured him it was right, but it was wrong. Like he brought it down. And I flew this machine, and it was like the verge of winding me up. I knew it was wrong, but I wanted to try it anyway, just to see what it was like. And like,
Yeah.
40 hours, I had that thing just about spinning around on me. Yeah, it almost wound me
Like
up.
in the wires, you're just like going back and forth.
Yeah,
like-
yeah, exactly. And then I was like, God, I just wanted to see what it felt like. I was
Yeah.
curious. So I did a
the guy
flight on it, and I
flying,
came
he's
back,
actually,
was
like,
like,
sideways.
yeah, it's wrong. So
That
we
just doesn't
fixed
look
it
right.
and turned everything around. Because on those motors, like you can flip that plate around. It's all modular, so you can have the same offsets and just switch them from side to side, so that you can
Yeah.
use different motors. You know,
Yeah, I
belt
think that's
drive,
the
gear drive.
impressive thing is the modularity of them, and you can switch the motors out, and you keep the same frame, but just buy a new bracket and put a new motor on and stuff.
Mm.
It's really interesting tech, you know, and I'm such a tech geek, so I love stuff like that, you know.
Heck yeah. I'm about to the point where I'm going to build another one soon.
Oh, you
gonna
got the
build a,
Dirty Bird Mark II. or something.
Well, not so much. That was kind of a mission specific paramotor, but I thought about just a mono frame, just one that's all welded.
Oh,
So
yeah.
strong. I don't know if y'all have ever felt one. Like all the ones on the market just about break down for travel or, you know, storage or whatever. But you got one that's every piece is welded to every other piece.
Right.
The strength is amazing, and you could probably cut down a lot of weight and have something that is super strong.
You
Like,
don't mind, like
you
having
can't,
a-
the Dirty Bird, you can't grab the hoop and flex it at all. It feels like a rock when you
Yeah.
squeeze on it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I would think that I could build one just a, you know, kind of a typical design with a, you know, tubular frame, you know, harness attached, and then, you know, standard gas tank. But having the mono frame would allow me to save a lot of weight
Yeah.
on parts that are modular that would have to go together and have a connection of some sort.
I'm sure
But
there's
I
a
think
market
that may be
for
the
it
next
for sure.
welding table project that's coming up on my end.
Make sure you film that. I'd love to watch that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I definitely wouldn't suggest anything like this, but I could totally see Kyle developing a paramotor that, like, he'll shoot a video and he'll be like running forward, and then he'll just stop and then fall back a turtle, and then get back up and then just keep running forward, and then fall back a turtle, and then get back up and then just run forward and take off. He'll be the guy to come up with that paramotor that you can do that, and he'll call it the turtle or something.
I'd have to quit eating tacos for that.
Turtler.
It would be the VTOL, be vertical takeoff and landing.
Yeah.
Oh,
I come
excellent.
across some kid at a gas station one time, had one on a carrier on the back of the truck, and He was like, what, how do you fly that thing? And I was like, yeah, you hook it to a wing. He's like, no, how do you fly it without hooking it to a wing? Like, I was like, no, man, you don't want to do that. He's like, yeah, but you could, right? I was trying to convince him that no, and he just was dead set that that thing would fly without hooking it to anything. It's like, no, man, you wouldn't want to do that. And it was weirdest conversation I've ever had at a gas station. And
You
then,
just definitely want to think happy thoughts.
yeah, another gas station, a lady simply, I was paying for my gas and she just looked out the window at it and she said, air, land, or water. That was it. Air, land, or water. That was her question.
Depends.
That's great. That's great.
I've gotten one that I pulled into a gas station and they asked me, is my truck a flying boat or an airboat?
Yeah.
Oh, because you have yours tied to the back of it?
Yeah, I have mine on the rack of it, so they think it's an airboat.
Funny.
Have any of you ever flown a SkyTap Angel?
No, but I keep waiting for Andrew to bring it by so that I can.
I've flown one.
Did you?
Oh, you know what? David Carroll from Amarillo is supposed to be coming in for the para party. And I believe he has one of those.
Oh, there you
and I
go.
hope he lets me fly it. I'd like to.
Would you try to drag it?
I mean, I just want to fly it. I don't want to drag it anywhere. But I'll strap it on and launch it.
I love watching Andrew drag that across the field. That's so much fun.
I got some good video of Andrew dragging it across the field coming out.
I got you. I got video of you getting video of him doing that.
Yeah, he did it a lot. I got about.
Was it just like dragging it around?
The whole length of,
Yeah.
The whole length of the field, he was dragging it.
Yeah.
Oh, like flying it.
Like
yeah, flying it, but dragging the whole cage.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's got those hoops on the front.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
the
thought he was
Swanee
like
flying.
dragging it like with his hands.
Rippa and there was who else was it? We were all out there. He was literally going by us like 3-4 feet by us.
Yeah.
Literally dragging, just pile driving this thing in the ground, flying it by.
I got some good video. It's gonna be nice. I'm going through it now.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's the last video of all that footage. There was so much footage from that fly-in.
Yeah, John was nice before you got on the show. Is Cynthia and Greg. Greg was saying that you were really his main inspiration, your videos. He was really inspired by watching your videos.
Oh, thank you, buddy. All you guys inspire me. Everybody on the panel.
What
the heck
is
that?
I got Gizmo.
You got that butt licking dog kissing him on the face.
He's a dick licker. Yeah.
He's a sword swallower.
Done.
Yeah, he's good though. He's a sweet boy.
Is that Gizmo?
That's Gizmo.
So you know when there's a true fan when you know the name of the dog.
Yeah.
Where are your real dogs at?
He's right here by my feet.
The real dogs.
Yeah, we let them come in when it gets cold outside. If it's below 50, we let all the dogs come in the house.
Especially
Otherwise,
that
they
one.
live in the
He doesn't
yard.
have meat.
Not in Canada.
Oh, I love that little one. The Chopper is probably my favorite.
He's like, I feel like I'm in space.
He'll grab my hand with his paw.
Oh,
Like,
my
touch
God.
Touch me.
That's so cute and entertaining.
You're not gonna do it, are you? He's too tired to do it. What is it, buddy?
Had a rough day.
What is it?
How did this channel just become about Kyle and his Chihuahua? I think that's a whole new channel on its own. We just named it Kyle and his Chihuahua.
Have you seen any show with Kyle on it? It always becomes the Kylo show.
It's Taco. Oh, good.
Well, but then, if that was the case, then Kyle would have to make up the title, and it'd probably be like, Kyle and the Willy Liquor,
So I have a question for everybody. How many of you have actually met each other in person? And how many, has everybody here met each other in person?
Met Todd.
See, I've met
John,
1, 2, 3,
and Sarah.
Okay.
4.
I met
you
four.
got?
Yeah,
Five.
I've met pretty
I
much
probably met the most.
everybody, but
I'm the odd man out
Anthony,
here.
Sean, and Kevin. Everybody else I've met.
And Leandra.
I met 60 year
Well,
old.
when I say Anthony, I mean Leandra because Anthony doesn't count. Leandra does.
Yeah.
This is just my panel of digital fable people. They don't really exist in real life. They just exist on YouTube.
Yeah.
They're all characters. They're all characters. They're all CG. None of them are real people.
Yeah.
Oh, on secret
That's right.
CIA
You
bases.
could tell by my shirt, right, Kevin?
That's it. I was wondering if the dog did that to you or if the kids got you. I wasn't quite sure. I was trying to figure it out.
Well, it's like
I'm
what
not
Yeah,
real-
you
I'm
guys
not a
got
real
that whole
person.
Max Headroom. You've got that whole Max Headroom thing going on.
I'm really a 16-year-old Australian black girl.
Catfish.
I got you guys fooled. I'm Aborigine.
Kyle, I was actually getting a good look, like out of context. I was like, you just look like a futuristic Elvis.
Yeah, guys, I'm sorry. The cat's out of the bag. When I say I'm going to fly with Kyle O'Glee in Louisiana, what I'm really doing is I'm going to my room to go take a nap. I'm sorry. I lied.
That's great.
It's all CG. None of it actually happened.
It's like Elon Musk says, they're just in a simulation. It's all just a simulation.
Blender's gotten really cool these days. You can do all kinds of fun stuff with Blender.
David Wolf, have you got a chance to practice yet?
No, that's what I was saying earlier. The weather's been horrible, and I'm gonna.
Ooh,
Friday's looking good. I'm gonna try to come out on Friday.
heck yeah.
But everything that you told me, I'm gonna do.
Do your work, sir.
That?
I said,
So
do your work, sir.
in 3 years, I have my first official skunk day. I spent all day from noon till it got dark standing on launch waiting for it to get a puff of wind, and there wasn't a stitch of wind come through.
I brought a
Oh.
paramotor, my friend.
I should have brought a paramotor. You are right about that one. Yep.
That's what they're for.
And then by the time we got to the secondary inland side, it was too dark to launch and it was going catabatic, and we just wasted a whole day of watching the sun.
But it's not wasted exactly. I mean, you're standing on a mountain, right?
When we were on the coast. We were on
Playing for days and-
a 400-foot cliff.
And there was no wind on the coast?
No, it was dead. I mean, like the first time I've ever seen it my whole life, dead. Like even the little Kylo Ripley flags were.
In the 15 years I lived in Oregon, and my father was a marine biologist, and we used to go down to Oregon, Oregon coast all the time. I never saw a day that it was not blowing wind.
Well, you know, the messed up part was Noah, Windy, and Windgram all showed 7 to 10, and we were standing there, and there was nothing.
Oh my God. That's
It was
odd.
even showing current wind at 7 to 10, and we were standing there with. And we were like trying to figure out, like, where are you getting this reading? Like off of your wife's hair blow dryer? Like, what's going on?
I have never seen the Oregon coast or even the Washington coast, for that matter, without a breath of wind.
No,
Never.
it was very weird. Straight calm.
Yes, you know what? It's just more proof that we're living in a simulation.
I told you it's all
That's it.
CG.
Move inland. Hey, it's global warming, man. Move inland. You're gonna drown.
No, it's just you got to. The way I look at it is you pay the boatman, and this is one of those times where you do para waiting, so that next time you do a lot of para flying.
No, next time you bring paramotor.
They balance out.
Motor.
Pay the
Yeah,
boatman.
it's called paramotor.
We all know the wind wasn't blowing because the world is flat anyway. So
Yeah, well, my cat pushed half the stuff off of it.
There you go. Yeah, Kyle is a great expert in flat Earth. I mean, he preaches that all the time.
Heck yeah.
Todd,
Yeah,
what are you
man.
doing? What? I'm actually working in my trailer trying to put some shelving up, but I've got to be quiet because I can't use power tools with the neighbors. I don't want to use the hand tools because it does make noise and it will trip the mic, and then it'll just be on me.
Well, put yourself on mute.
Why do I want to put myself on mute? Then you can't hear.
Well, I was going to ask that too.
Then you can't hear my power tools.
Right. So, got stuff going in. Got all kinds of trash. So yeah.
Man, we're all building paracampers, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
your
God.
Murphy that's not as nice as mine.
Yeah.
I was working on mine today.
Man, we must be like starting to
insulating.
become paramotor pilots or something. We're getting serious.
You know what's funny is that
You're not serious until you got 6 paramotors of your own inside of your paracamper.
Hey.
Well, then that's the problem is it's not a paracamper anymore. You removed the camper term and you've just turned it into a Kylo school trailer.
Yeah, Kyle. Kyle, last week you saw my camper. It's starting to get serious with paramotors.
You know, we should just buy motorhomes because we're going to do these campers and then we're going to move up to something like a Class C, and then the next thing we're going to be in is a motorhome. So we might as well just get the motorhomes now.
I like John's way of thinking about this.
Yankee said that's exactly what's going to happen. I said, I can see it.
They all got mad.
I'm already looking at travel trailers.
That said that to me.
They all got mad at me when I showed up to the flying in a 37-foot Seneca, and I just didn't understand what the problem with that was.
It gets serious. I've got a 40-foot 4-slide Tiffin Phaeton is what I'm in right now, and I still haven't brought this to a paramotor fly-in yet. One of these days I will.
Yeah, I mean, if you got it, you might as well.
I mean, it's living. It's absolute living.
Awesome.
I just need to hit the same tax bracket as you guys because I'm realizing how broke I really am.
Now you're doing better off because when you hit this tax bracket, the Uncle Sam just takes more of it than you get to see. So you're doing better.
Yep.
Well, that got political.
That's
it. Well, we can't all keep the border safe with our paramotor, Anthony. All right.
Oh God, here we come up with borders and ice again. I mean, Anthony only mentioned that
one
earlier.
got
I'm still waiting for Leanne to kill us.
Somebody call her.
So Leandra, did you fly over? Is that what Anthony was saying?
That's the story. That's the story.
Yes, she did.
If you kill him, we will say that you were with us in a totally different state.
Got my alibi straight away. Thanks.
Yep,
She was at the Kylo School of Paramotor getting trained up. I don't know how that happened.
Oh boy. Well, Greg, I want to pick your brain one of these days because I need to bring my videography up a level.
Sure, man. Let's have a video call at some point. No
I'll
problem.
tell you what, guys, I'm gonna put a video up tonight just for y'all. Go public with it. And then,
Does it come out in a week after your Patreon viewers see it first?
I think y'all might already saw it. I don't know. I usually drop them on Patreon immediately as soon as I get them edited, and then I just sort of dwindle them out onto the YouTubes as I feel necessary. But yeah, it's a good one. It's a long one. I think this one may be like a 30-minute. Like I went out and did.
Oh, cool.
Oh, cool. Something I can fall asleep to.
That's right. Pretty boring.
That's
I did
what
the
all my
animations,
videos.
like the Avery animations and all that stuff, and it was a strong wind day, like a 20-mile-an-hour wind day. Like I could barely make it back. I climbed 2 thermals, and it took me an hour to get back. Like 5-mile-an-hour ground speed, and yeah, pretty fun day. That's when I hit the Dust Devil. That's the video, is the Dust Devil. But,
Cool.
Kyle, when I'm out there, I really want to start picking your brain with this whole Colorado and the trims and rough weather and stuff.
Yeah.
I saw you comment, and I commented back, and I hope that you didn't take it wrong. I mean, I'm really trying to figure out where I am in there, and I'm wanting to go forward, but I'm also, I mean, my body's just slamming the brakes on.
Yeah.
So I really want to get with you and get into a class or something and really start taking this to
do
the
what I
next
said.
level.
Like if you're having to stop the wing from shooting out in front of you, then pull the trims in. If it's just bumps and the wing's not actually shooting or anything, then whatever, anything goes.
Okay.
That's how I ride.
Well,
The
I
key
still
is
wanna
actually a hook
pick up
knife.
you more.
You need to go ahead and take a hook knife, and you start off with your inner B lines, and you just start cutting lines until it starts to.
I don't think that
No.
Colorado's got B lines.
Didn't y'all
It's got
see
a weird
Kyle's
line
most
layout. I
recent
tried to
video?
do.
You gotta have a reserve on every corner of the paramotor.
Now you're sounding like Woody.
I need to read the manual on that thing. I took Dave Hamlin's up the other day and did like some wing overs, barrel roll stuff on it. And then I tried to pull some big ears and there was no outer A line. Like the stabilo like transfers to the outer A or something. And when you pull the big ears, they like flopped real bad, like plop, 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 plop. It was totally
Yeah.
weird. I never pulled a big ear that did that before on any glider. And then if you start
I
grabbing
did that once and it scared the shit out of me. Cause yeah, it came in and just started doing this. And I'm like, whoop, okay, we're done with that.
Oh yeah. I rode it for a while just to kind of see what the hell was going on, but it was
not me.
Southerner.
Hey, so I do have a question for all you videographers, cinematographers. One of the things Woody is adamant about right now is the multiple reserve things. So who's going to be the first one to make a video where you have like 7 reserves mounted to? And
I gotta get one first.
you know, 1 is 0, what is it? 2 is 1, 1 is none kind of thing. And just have like reserves all over as you're clipping into a wing.
I don't know them well enough to poke fun at them.
To, route the bridles so that you throw them in a certain order as well.
So you just duct tape them on.
Duct tape solves all the problems.
I saw it in a Kyle O video. You just duct tape the reserve to your harness and you're good to go.
Right. That's right. Just tape. That's it. That's all it takes.
I'm sorry. It was athletic tape. This is a sport we're doing. It's athletic tape.
Yeah, exactly. And also said, don't do this.
So I say we need to go ahead and everybody send their reserves to somebody so they can have like 7 reserves and just get them all hooked up and get them all, ready and get a video of somebody clipping in.
Oh, hell. Just talk to Kyle. He has like 10 of them in his shop.
7 reserves.
Oh, shit.
I've got 3 too, as well.
But I think I just sold 3 of them tonight. So I gotta go pack them up. Get them ready
What's
to mail
going to be
out.
really funny is when Thumbs Down or Del Shanze puts out that video tomorrow because he's in the comments under some false name right now.
Hey, look, Craig joined us. What's up, Craig?
Hey.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Hey, there he is.
Looks cold there.
Yeah, I'm all bundled up.
We're starting a trend where you lay in bed and vlog.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
I've got the air on here, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I want to
10
put my
p.m.
PJs on.
It took
You
me-
guys would never tell. I don't have the scruff beard and a hot lady though, so I don't think
You never tell from my background, but I've been in bed this whole time.
Hey, knitting lady, hot lady, why don't you come over here? There's a spot right here for you.
Look at the
Oh my god.
Oh, that's the Shiner talking.
Oh yeah. Well, she didn't say no. I'm just saying.
Good, look at Dave's back.
I know, I just wanted.
We'll separate it right down the middle with a baseball bat and some golf clubs.
There you go. Yeah, she'll bring the baseball bat. I've already got the golf clubs.
Took me like 35 minutes to get this
You can just
pose.
see it now. Trike Flyer's next video, black and blue eye. Like, I can't fly today, guys.
Knit sleeping bag.
Look what she has. Hey, Sarah, show that again.
Oh, that's like a 50,000 volts right there, huh?
Wait,
Or is that a beard trimmer? I can't tell.
It
Hey,
does
Sarah,
both. It
set it
just
off.
depends on what mood you're in.
It does both.
It's a freaking
Sarah, set it
taser.
off. Fire it off.
Now touch Dave with it and fire it off.
No, Dave. Hey,
That'll make good content. This video will get hella clicks. Hella clicks.
When she
You want
first
clicks?
got
Let her hit
that
you with
damn
that
thing.
shit on camera, Dave.
No, I already hit myself with that damn thing. The day that she got it, I had it in my pocket and hit
You
the
didn't
button.
film it?
Oh God, no! I about peed myself, man.
Oh.
Hey,
That's the idea. That's what brings them in.
I
Is this
usually,
good content? Is this good content?
That's good content.
hey, I'm going to tell you all right now, okay? Don't go kiting with a flashlight, stun gun in your back pocket, okay? Now
I already
listen.
like this story.
No, check this out, okay? Dogs don't like it, okay? You got a wild dog running up to you or something, you never know out here. People, they don't put their dogs on leashes and stuff. I ain't getting mauled, so I got this nice little pocket jobber, right?
right here. This little bad boy right here. Okay. Now, thank God it's dead, because if it had juice, it'd be going. All right. Now, I had this nice little thing in my back pocket, and I didn't think about it, and I just stuck it in my back pocket. It was off. It's not going to turn on by itself. No, that would never happen. Well, I decided to go out kiting with my little Cloud 24 that day, and a gust picked up, and off the ground I went a little bit until I heard a and my right butt cheek was going numb, and I'm like, so I landed real quick, and that's kind of why I got pretty good at ground handling, because there's nothing like ground handling getting shocked in the ass from your own stun gun. So don't do that,
Ouch.
Yeah, don't put it in your pocket. Whatever you do, don't put it.
Anyone.
If you're gonna put it in your pocket, put it in your back pocket, because at least the arc, it won't like right directly on the butt cheek, but it'll arc to the rivet or something. But I'll tell you what, that rivet is a painful rivet.
Might cure sciatica. I don't know.
You see what you're getting into, Greg and Cynthia?
Yeah, it'll straighten you out real quick.
Becoming a I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So how do you
Oh,
feel
hey,
your journey has been
fly-ins
so
are fun with us. Let me tell you, once the tasers and the beer come out, it's all great fun.
It's literally shocking,
Hey, there's no in that.
We will light up your life. I'm telling you.
Oh, my jokes
No,
are
we're
being put to
very
shame.
happy to be part of all of this.
Hey guys. How do you, guys? I'm
How do you
breaking out
think
of here.
your progress has been so far?
Thanks.
It was fun. I'll see you guys.
All
soon, I
right.
hope.
Take care.
We'll see you Friday, buddy.
Night, guys.
Friday.
Wear that shirt again.
So Greg, Cynthia, how do you think your progress is coming along so far? How are you enjoying it or disliking it?
Loving it.
Yeah.
Kevin, you
Loving
made
it,
just
loving
like 3 hours of show.
No, I did. I was out trying to fly. That wasn't working. So I was trying to play catch up here with a quick question. I wasn't trying to get too deep. But just
No,
understand.
that's fine. I mean, I did my first flight today. I did a couple of flights. It's a little bit of a sketchy takeoff, but the first landing was amazing. Actually, I landed on my feet. It was nice and solid. Second one, I did a butt landing, but it wasn't hard. It was just, I think that's a rite of passage for any paramotorist. So I got that out the way early.
You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it when your feet come down on grass, buddy. It will happen.
Yeah, actually, it was looking nice, and then I at the last minute I got caught by some kind of a crosswind, and it just pulled me off to one side, and I just didn't have enough brake. I didn't have enough brake left for my feet. Then my ass hit the ground.
Yep, that does happen. It's all right.
Yeah, it was fine, and nothing got damaged. Just my ego a little bit, but it's
Nah, there's no ego involved in that one.
Yeah.
That's fine. That just happens to everybody. Everyone touches down a little harder than they want to from time to time.
Yeah, I just found it funny once I realized that my ass wasn't broken. I was all good, Yeah.
Greg, the best piece of advice I can give you is go real fast that way, and when the ground comes up, pull a lot of brake really quickly and start running.
Yeah.
And landings are great.
Okay. Okay. You got to remember that there's this much snow on the ground right now in Canada, so
yeah.
Well, just pull brake that much less time.
Okay. Got it.
Actually, seriously, the first time I ever landed in tall grass, at about 1.5 feet tall grass, it threw my whole landing off. I actually flared a little early, about 1 foot over the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Because my shoes were hitting the ground or hitting the grass, I'm thinking, okay, I'm about ready to land. Started pulling that brake and flared and actually plopped down. So there's something to be said to it.
The difference between a smooth landing and a heavy landing, for sure.
Yeah.
So are you flying in sub-zero temperatures?
It was 0 degrees when I was in the air today, so it was a little bit chilly. But the adrenaline was running so much. I had thin gloves on, and I didn't even notice.
Didn't even feel it. Yeah.
A little bit chilly. That's like no fly for me. 0 degrees.
Oh, nope. I'll fly in -10 if I can. I don't care.
Celsius,
Crazy.
Celsius.
Celsius too.
Well, okay, 0 Celsius, still 32 degrees. I'm a 50 degree kind of guy. I mean,
Hey, when you're out here,
60
sometimes
here.
it's like,
Nothing less than
I don't know if
60.
I'll fly in the cold either.
Not me. If it's working, I'm flying. I pull no punches on that one. I'll put on some jackets and some ski pants or whatever and go for it. I don't care.
If I'm not wearing shorts, I'm not flying.
We ordered.
Yeah,
from,
if I haven't flown in a week or two, I might drop down to 40. But yeah, other than that, nope.
But see, that's the difference between free fly and motor fly. With free fly, it's kind of like a whole day event, and you really want to squeeze as much of it out as you can. With a motor fly, you can get like a quick hour in, pack up your stuff, go get a hot chocolate, move on with your day. So that's kind of where when I say like I'll go send it, I mean if it's there and it's doable, I'll go for it.
Yeah,
Kevin, you need to discover the wide world of Adam 80 meets Buzz Z5. That's what you need to meet. Because then you just motor up to 2,000 feet, shut that motor off, go catch your thermals, land, and you're done. I mean,
when it's crazy cold, I just do a whole bunch of kiting. I won't, you know, I won't bother getting the motor out, putting it on my back, you know, just starting it up, you know, feeling the air running, you know, it's here where I'm at, it's really damp, a damp, cold air. It's a lot what you guys are dealing with. I'm in Ohio, so I'm just a little bit, you know.
You know, the temperature isn't something that really worries me too much. I've just ordered the there's like a pod you can get from Apco, which like you can cover your legs with it. It's like a winter flying pod, and it looks really cool. But it's not. That's not the thing that really worries me. The temperature. It's the terrain, because obviously, like, you know, at some point here, it just starts snowing a lot. You know, and then you get ice over the snow, then more snow, then ice again. So you get like these sandwich layers of ice. And the field that we're at, they do they flatten it and they shovel and stuff like that. But still, there's a limit to that. There's going to be a point where like the weather's good to fly, but the terrain just isn't good to launch from. And at that point, we will, like you say, we'll just kite as much as we can and just wait it out.
The temperature definitely stops me.
Like
we're talking about 0 degrees now, but it's about to go. This is a mild day. It's about to go down to minus 20 Celsius, minus 30 Celsius.
Oh, we can have under minus 30 Celsius for weeks on end here.
Hell yeah, that ooh no.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, there's one video I'd like to make actually, if it's maybe not this year, maybe next year, if it's sensible to do so. I want to go flying, and I want to get a water bottle and strap it to my knee and fly until it freezes solid, and I'm sure it will.
You won't even launch. You won't even get launched before it's frozen solid.
There you go. Like it's some crazy.
When I was up in Alaska, it would get like -16, -18, and you could take a cup of coffee, throw it into the air, and it would freeze.
Right. It's incredible.
How does the motor run in that type of temperature? I mean, I know it runs, but does that cold temperature affect?
No, they run great. The colder you get that air going in on the motor, the better and more power it makes, baby.
I heard the gear doesn't care how cold it is up to a crazy temperature. It's like what are you willing to fly in as a human?
The colder the air, the more dense it is. The more dense the oxygen, the better it runs.
I know that. I mean, my vet, you know, if I took that out in the wintertime, it runs really good with the cold air and versus summertime. But I'm, you know, on a small little 2-stroke, you know, you start getting down into 0 degree Fahrenheit or, you know, -10 Fahrenheit. You know, it's
cars. So, I mean, and it affects the newest cars that are out there. So I could only imagine that it affects paramotors, you know?
I don't know.
I mean, do you start coming to a point where you start, you know, carb icing? You know, I wonder.
I don't think we'd ever fly when it's that cold. But you know, if it's -1 on the, if it was -10 on the ground Celsius, what is it at 2,000 feet when you're going through the air at 25 miles an hour? It's
below 0 Fahrenheit easily.
50, right?
Minus 30 plus wind chill.
No, it's a little bit crazy. I mean, I think you can do it, but it's like anything, right? When it's too cold, it's like even skiers that is meant to be done in the cold, you don't go skiing when it's too ridiculously cold unless you're just that crazy.
No, I waited until spring and put my shorts on and we'd go ski in shorts, you know, jam shorts and you know, that was fun, but
you just get jaded and you wait till it's a good day. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You let the cold pass like the rest of the world, you know.
Yeah.
They actually do have a chart for motorcycling on if the temperatures are below freezing and going a certain mile per hour on how much the temperature would drop. And it's pretty intense when you start seeing you going above 30 miles an hour. Or at 30 miles an hour, how much, let's say you're at 32 degrees and you're moving 30 miles an hour, you could be in -2 wind chill.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that and then altitude.
Yeah.
Then that and altitude on top of that.
Yeah, exactly. With the thinner air. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. There must be some charts out there that would you could compare things to. But I don't know. I want to do as much flying as I can sensibly do, but we're not taking any risks ever with this stuff. So we'll when the terrain tells us it's time to stop, we'll stop.
Yeah.
Just travel to places.
Yeah, we'll come south.
In Texas with the weather, if you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes. I mean,
yeah. Anthony told us that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, our guests Cynthia and Greg have been sitting in those seats for about 4 hours now. So I think
can't feel my ass.
That's not enough. They haven't paid their tolls enough.
She's still smiling. What are you guys talking about?
I know. It's probably a good time
Yeah,
to
but her
wrap it
other
up.
hand is clawing the hell out of Greg, I'm sure. Get us off
It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been great.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for having us
Thanks,
on.
guys.
Love the videos. Can't wait to see more of it.
Thanks so much, guys. It's so great to be on the show. It's like such an honor.
Yeah, really. We've been fans for quite a while.
Like,
So
I
it's
can't
very
wait to
cool.
meet everybody. Like this is like the wee beginnings of our adventures. You know, like we
Yeah.
haven't even gone on an advent. Well, that's not true. We've had many adventures, but like the real
big road
stuff,
trip,
you
the big
know,
American
like
road trips come in, and we'll
like
come and
the
have some
adult
beers.
adventures. You know,
Think about Arizona, because not only Arizona, but the beginning of February, you got Salton Sea.
Oh,
you've
yeah,
got
Salton
Flying
Sea for
Circus,
sure.
and you've got Maricopa.
Yeah.
So you get with me. I'll get you all the information and stuff, because I'm going to be there. So you need to be there too.
Hey, Dave, when in February is the Salton Sea flying?
Salton Sea, I don't know the exact date, but it's like the first week of February, right in that
It's
area.
It's January 30th to February 6th.
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's the week before I get there. I'm going down for a week. I'm gonna go meet up with Robert and go fly Blossom and all that stuff.
And then the week after is the Flying Circus Air Paramo, which is like, it's not that far. It's a couple 100 miles away from Salton Sea. So you got back to back fly-ins.
we could just go to fly-ins like the whole year. Through.
If I could do it full time, I would for sure.
Well,
I'd love
also, since you guys are on here during that same time, February 11th to the 15th, Resurgence PPG will be doing their Adventure Wingman experience.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Where's
Yeah,
that?
We're going to be doing that. We start out in
Turn your
Scottsdale.
video back on, Todd.
It's like
Well, hey, my wife and kids got home, so I gotta go. It's been a pleasure.
All right, ciao.
Later, Kevin.
Thanks
Take
for
care.
coming
Take
on.
care,
You
Kevin.
guys all have a great week. We'll talk
Yeah,
to you
nice
soon.
to meet you, man.
Yeah, Kevin.
Yeah.
So we kick off February 11th in Scottsdale, Arizona, and we'll be bouncing around Arizona, and hopefully we'll finish up at the Flying Circus.
Oh, cool.
Oh, Todd, let me know, because I'm going to be out there like January 18th through March.
You're going to be at Salton Sea, right?
Oh, I'm going to be Salton Sea and Flying Circus, and also I'm in Gold Canyon, which is probably around 20 miles away from Scottsdale.
And you'll be coming and flying with the Resurgence Adventure Wingman, and so will Craig Taylor. He just doesn't realize it yet.
Sweet. Well, give me all the information. It would be my pleasure to fly with you guys.
Well, that's kind of all the information.
Well, you know what? You
What do you
have my
want?
number. Just text it to me, and I'll put it in my account. I'll have my guy call your guy, and our guys will talk, and I'll be there.
There should be a universal schedule like that everybody has access to, where you just like post all the events on.
Yeah, it's called the Paramotor Facebook page.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The USPPA.
Okay. Night, guys.
Don't say we didn't
Cynthia,
warn you.
Cynthia, it's called being cool and getting people to tell you what's going on, and you're in. So
I have to take Dave as white M&Ms for the fly-ins. Believe me,
I haven't announced I haven't announced an official invitation yet. It hasn't opened up, but right now we're at 15 pilots, and that's made up of Resurgence alumni and instructors that have been involved in their training.
Wow.
And then we'll see how many other people we can get to join in.
Oh man. Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, Todd, I'll be in that area, so just make sure I have that information, and I will fly with you guys. Absolutely.
You have it. Just gave it to you.
Well, but I'll forget it by tomorrow morning. In other words, what I'm trying to tell them is text me the damn information.
He gets to come fly with
Here's an idea.
your old wings.
Watch the replay of this
Yeah.
video tomorrow. And you'll
Well,
get all
the problem with watching
on here.
the
It's all
problem
being
with watching
recorded.
the
On the
replay.
video, you note the time on the video and
Yeah.
pinpoint it.
Well, the problem with that though is that he just cut out, so I didn't hear a damn thing he said. So
I'll see you at the Salton Sea.
okay.
We'll make sure you got all the details
All right,
there.
listen. Good night, everybody. I'm wrapping this up. Cynthia and Greg, you guys are awesome. Thank you
Thanks,
so much,
Cynthia,
everybody.
Greg.
Thanks,
Thanks for
guys.
joining tonight and joining in. Thanks for everybody watching and the show and the chat.
Oh,
And he died.
Next week, have a great week. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Have a
That's
great
right.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Thanksgiving turkey gobble gobble, and we'll see you next week, guys. All right, stay safe but be crazy. We're out.